Hello.
Hi.
The two best co-hosts in sports, Coach Nathan West and Brad Miller, aka Dr. Biscuits. Before I get going, I do have to say this. I have to thank these two for doing this with me every Sunday. They don't have to. They do. I don't know why, but they do. So, guys, I do appreciate it. I wanted to say that. I didn't want to tell you this was coming, but I do appreciate it.
Really, my only question is, like,
Steve gets. Oh,
I was told there would be pay.
Do it for free, so there is no pay.
My thing is, Steve gets the Ronies, and now all of a sudden he's all sentimental with us. The hell, Steve? What do I do? Do I get the boom for the mic if anything goes?
I donate this podcast to Nathan West and Brad Miller.
Yes, but it will still be called the Coach Steve Show.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're keeping that name.
No, I'm keeping the logo.
The Coach Steve Show in memorandum.
No, because I talked about it yesterday. I was like, they don't have to do this. I was like, I'm going to fight through it and do it because they want to do it, so they don't have to, but I'm going to fight through it.
Well, no.
Favorite parts of the weekend.
Yeah, that's what we were talking the other day. We were like, this is the best part of my Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't really get to sit and do this anymore because old macaroni and cheese over there, Steve.
Yeah.
Like, people like you getting sick.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah. That's what happens when you go to the bars and such, Steve.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I shouldn't lick shopping carts and...
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh.
No, you should. You should do that.
It helps your immune system.
Well, this nice thank you just turned south real quick. So,
you honestly thought it was going to go well?
There's a 50-50 chance.
You got to poking the bear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I poked too hard. All right.
No. That was when the thing went live.
I was getting ready to say thank you, then I looked and you had your hood up. I was like, oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. Everything's just gone.
You told me to do it, and it's your podcast, so I have to listen to you.
It's true. You're the boss.
You also said I couldn't wear socks when I do the podcast, so socks are off.
Wait, we're not supposed to be wearing socks?
No socks.
That was part of my free contract.
The fuck?
Brad, you're supposed to give me applesauce, and I'm still fucking waiting on this applesauce.
Listen, man, the supply chain strained. Okay?
I'm just hearing excuses.
The apples from Venezuela are on high demand.
You know, Brad, only LeBron makes more excuses than you.
You son of
Oh, Jesus. Can we just not talk about him for I know this is the sports show, but this is your sports show, so we don't have to mention it.
No, because this is what Steve does.
He's poking the bear.
Every time you could be like, Steve, we need to talk about your academics. Well, LeBron James flops a lot, so of course we're failing math.
It gets me out of it, doesn't it?
Here's the deal, Brad. What you're doing is you're creating a 2-on-1 here by the end of this. If you start poking at Brad now, he's not going to be in the middle in our little debate. He's going to be more on my side. And then I don't know if you're he just big framed us. What a jerk.
Mr. Big Time over there.
Look at this. I can do shapes too.
Ain't nobody got time to look at my face.
Hey, Steve, why don't you go eat some delicious meal? Oh, wait, you can't, idiot.
Yeah,
now, hold on.
Eat something, fool.
I can. Don't tell me I can't. You just have to tell me not to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Steve, why don't you taste test this food, idiot?
Now, hold on. Brad, you're the doctor here. I can taste it when I'm swallowing it. That's the weird part.
You have different stages of taste buds through your tongue. So, as you start to get your taste back, you're going to get them by stage. So, you'll get sour back. Normally, the last thing you get back is sweet.
Which sucks.
That's my only hope is I'm eating it.
Is it? Question. So isn't bacon, we're way off the sports subject already. Doesn't bacon hit every one of those zones? That's why everybody loves bacon so much. Because they were talking about that on Bar Rescue. That's where I learned that.
Oh,
No, so really what bacon does is you get that umami flavor is what it's called, where it's like savory, salty, like it hits a little bit of everything. So
Yeah.
but you get that with most meats. You can get that with like mushrooms are a good one that have the same effect, like a mushroom that's cooked really well. Yeah. Asian countries figured that one out really well.
Like we figured out the fast food cheeseburger over here.
Hell yeah, brother.
Meanwhile, they can cook a mushroom steak and make it a gourmet meal.
Absolutely.
All right, Steve.
Does Busch lattes help with your taste buds to come back?
I mean, yeah, it's a crisp, refreshing beer.
All right. That's what I've been told, but I have to ask the doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 a day keeps the doctor away.
I have a feeling that'll make me worse, but we'll find out.
I mean, you don't know till you try it.
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to get rid of me for this podcast now? I'm starting to wonder.
And think of it this way. If your blood's technically toxic, nothing can live in there.
Boom.
You're going to kill off a virus, bud. Get that BAC up to like 0.2.
You got to get those numbers up. That's rookie
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. Get them up.
7 minutes in of BS.
Haven't
Fantastic.
talked about a single sport.
Yep. I tried at 5 minutes to say we're doing it again, but we kept going.
Well, when Dr. Biscuits gets fired up, there's no going back.
It's true.
So we did last week. Anybody that listened, we're going to be Bears fans, but we need to root for another team. The polls have spoken, and we are Colts fans now.
Booyah, Quentin Nelson City, baby.
We are Colts fans now.
By the way, did you see, I was on Facebook today and somebody posted a stat, like Quentin Nelson has allowed 2 sacks and like 3,000 dropbacks.
Perfect.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That is insane. I know he plays guard, so whatever, but that's impressive.
But then his pancake ratio is probably insane too. And also that he's the first lineman every time to like celebrate the touchdowns also says something.
Absolutely. He's kind of the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah.
Him and Darius Leonard, right? Isn't that their linebacker?
Yep. Yeah, and he's a freaking stud. Yeah, we actually got a good team to cheer for. I don't know what we're going to do with higher expectations.
Yeah, and they have DeForest Buckner on the defensive line. Like, I'm excited for good football.
Jonathan Taylor at running back. We can T-Y. Yeah. See what
competent coaching decisions. Yeah, I would say they have good coaching decisions. We just need a quarterback.
Dude, Frank Reich is aggressive as hell. I love them watching them because they go for it on most 4th and 1s as long as it isn't going to be too good a field position if they miss it.
Well, I think you can do that when you have a good O-line.
Yes. Yeah. Because your O-line, it's like, these guys get me 3 yards, no problem.
And they have a defense that blitzes. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like,
I'm real excited.
And Indianapolis is not that far away for cheaper tickets.
Yes. Yes. That's why Indianapolis was invented. All professional sports.
You want to see your favorite team play? Come to Indy to see them play.
Indy or Nashville, it seems like. Like Nashville's.
If you want to spend your life savings to watch the Bears suck, go to Chicago and spend your life savings.
$7,000 for nosebleeds.
I'm going to pass on that. That's why we left. We're just Colts fans now.
The best part of going to a Bears game is walking through that tunnel thing underneath and then turning back.
I've never been.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't park
one game, and it was that playoff game against the Eagles. Sitting on the 15-yard line on the front row on the Bears sideline. In the end, so I was on the end of the field with the double doink.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've only been to 2. I've been to 2 Bears games. When Jay Cutler hurt his ankle and then tried to play, and we lost the Lions 16-14. And then I saw them play Jimmy G, Jimmy G's first start for the 49ers.
I got to go, so we went over to Cincinnati when Cameron first traveled with the Bears. We went and watched him in Cincinnati, dude, I was like 3 rows off the field. It was awesome. And then I went and saw 2 games at Memorial Stadium when the Bears played at Memorial Stadium, and got to watch Tom Brady be down, I think it was 28-0, and came back and beat the Bears in the second half doing Tom Brady things.
Do you think Tom Brady, part of him was like, oh, this is just a slightly better shitty Illinois team?
Well, that was when they had Urlacher, and so I'll never forget, Urlacher comes off after they allow like the go-ahead score, and he hit that heated bench. So I was on like the 45-yard line, like 20 rows up behind the Bears bench, and he came off and hit that bench so hard, like it reverberated. The whole bench just shook, and I was just like, that's a different size man.
Well, think about the fact that he was a safety in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like a free safety too, I think.
Imagine going over the middle.
He was like all of these hybrid safety linebackers before hybrid safety linebackers, but he became a big-ass linebacker. I mean, he wasn't under 250.
Ooh, speaking of...
And if we're being honest, the Tampa 2, he made that defense functional.
Because he was so athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, because COVID causes confusion and I forget, that's what my excuse is going to be. We forgot to talk about somebody that got hired at the Texans we'll get to later, because I think that's part of Dr. Biscuit's rant. Too. I think you had one. Maybe. I don't know. That's what's in the text message. I just go by the text messages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was, oh, Jesus. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because we said Tampa 2, but you're right. If you're going to play Tampa 2, you need Brian Urlacher there, a young one. Like, that was perfect.
You need Brian Urlacher. Like, who's the dude the Cardinals drafted? Justin Simmons?
Isaiah Simmons.
Simmons. Yeah. Runs like a 4.3. He's 6'3", 230. Like,
yep. Darius Leonard could probably play. I mean, he's our new linebacker, so we got to cheer him on. He could make it happen. He's super athletic, amazing football player. Actually, the fact that he didn't make the Pro Bowl, if we can backdate our fandom now, the fact he didn't make the Pro Bowl his first year was kind of BS.
Mm-hmm.
For
politics.
Well, the fact that Roquan Smith, I know we're not Bears fans anymore, but Roquan Smith didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Also a joke.
Yeah. It's the same thing as freaking Derek Jeter being an all-star late in his career at shortstop, and the dude couldn't move anymore.
Yeah.
And he was winning Gold Gloves. Like, no.
Yes.
Respect.
I'm going to save the rest of my thoughts.
But anyway, we're Colts fans. They finally have competent coaching and not a bad defense. Their defense wasn't bad either.
Yeah, top 10 defense.
Yeah. So they just need a quarterback.
They need a not Phillip Rivers.
But can we have a quarterback that talks like him and says dadgummit on the sideline and peaches and cream and shoot?
Got 15 kids.
If you think about it, a team that would have the draft capital to get Deshaun Watson would be the Indianapolis Colts, because they've just used their own picks and they haven't moved any picks anywhere.
Or what did you say to me last on Xbox?
Can you imagine Deshaun Watson with that line and that running game?
Or will Andrew Luck just come out of retirement?
But they're not going to trade Deshaun Watson within the division.
No, but that's what I thought was weird when we heard Stafford to the Bears. I was kind of confused.
Now, they're both in the AFC, but is the Texans AFC South? Is that where the Colts are too?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another thing. I saw a guy say, this is actually Mahomes' trainer, Bobby Stroop, said, don't be surprised if Deshaun Watson's in Jacksonville.
Now that we talked about this the other night, like that's must-see TV, and I think you don't have to trade that many first-rounders if you're.
You have the number one overall this year. Everything else is just a hypothetical,
For Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Which sucks, and I don't want to see it just because I don't want to see Trevor Lawrence in a bad situation.
You don't want to see Trevor Lawrence in David Carr's position. Not
Yes.
Derek Carr, David Carr.
Welcome to the stable. Nice.
Yes.
No, I think
Thank you.
it's
Thank you. I'll be painting my face and doing all kinds of crazy things. Who knows with this Roni dad bod, I might even paint my belly. Look like I'm pregnant or something. I don't know.
Steve and I will be CO and you'll be LTS.
Yes. Yes. That just registered in my brain as the coffee's starting to kick in. Or I could just be a really nice O. Just
There
a
you go.
really solid O.
I've always wanted to do that, but then it always hits me. I was like, I don't have enough friends.
Yeah. Also, good morning, coach.
Yeah.
And all that,
Yeah.
gotta be professional here, Can't be talking about my fat belly, That's
Okay.
even.
Yep, there we go.
That's a fan.
Yes. I'm actually renaming my dog. Darius.
Yeah, I wanted to name our dog Roquan. That wasn't allowed.
Well, now you can get a dog. You can name whatever you want.
True. It was either Roquan or Khalil.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Now you
Khalil
get
would be a cool dog name.
You gotta get 2 dogs now. Look what you've done. You gotta get 2 of them now. Now you gotta have both.
And 2 boys, that's a pain in the freaking neck.
I know, right? Well, no, one's a boy, one's a girl.
Oh, Khalil's a girl? Because Roquan would be a dude. That's a strong name.
Roquan's a dude. You could name her
Khalil.
Mackie, and she just goes by Mac.
There you go. There you go. That's
go. So when she's in trouble, you say the full name, but besides that, you say
just like I just made up my dog's long names because we've always just called him by the short ones. So like Izzy is Isabel and Sully is Sullivan.
Mm-hmm. So like I used to have a dog named Duke, and then when they got another female shepherd, they named her Duchess, but her real name is Lady Duchess, or no, it's Duchess heir to R&R Farms. Like that's her real
That sounds like a freaking racing horse name.
I know, right? But then like Sadie's name is because the daughter of a duchess is a lady. So Sadie's name is Lady Sadie, heir apparent to R&R Farms.
Holy shit. Okay.
That's a lot to
Game of
process.
Thrones. I wanted to do the Game of Thrones thing where her title took like 5 minutes to read.
And was umpteen million syllables.
Mm-hmm.
All right, college football news.
do we have any? I mean, I guess I have one.
Go ahead, Steve.
I can't say his name. Hupel from UCF. He was hired as Tennessee's head football coach. They wasted no time hiring a coach. Then they pretty much fired most of the staff and have to rehire the staff. New athletic director. They're still under investigation for recruiting violations and everything else. And then Pruitt is going to get hired at the Jets.
Is that the deal? He's going to the Jets?
Yeah, it's reported that he's going to get hired at the Jets.
You know what?
Colts fan.
Yeah. You know what, though? I mean, if you think about it, dude's from the Alabama coaching tree. He's probably knows something. You know what I'm saying? It isn't like you're getting a turd. It just means you're getting a guy who really wasn't given a chance to succeed at Tennessee.
And he's under a guy that I believe in.
Yeah.
The Jets
Yeah.
good head coaching hire. So that I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay.
I think he'll be, when you mention that, I think they'll be really okay.
Brad, good thing I looked this up. He was going to go to the Jets, but now he's at the Giants now. It was the Jets, then he decided to go to the Giants.
That's fine.
So you're good.
I'm okay with that.
You're good. Everything's fine now.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's gonna be fine.
But isn't that crazy? Like
we can all still admit he wasn't given a chance to succeed at Tennessee.
Oh, absolutely not. I do think that Tennessee under a new athletic director is a better job.
But you have Kevin Steele there too, I think. I don't know if they still kept him or like that boggles my mind.
If you're the new athletic director and you let that dude stay in the program,
yeah, Why would you bring him in when you were that unstable before, though?
They had a bad athletic director. And it was one of those things. Their athletic director was he's like a school legend.
Yep.
Because he's their old coach. It's
Yep.
bad Barry Alvarez.
Yeah, because Barry Alvarez is actually pretty good.
No, and really runs Wisconsin's entire athletic department very well.
Yeah.
Like to have
they don't retain their assistants because they're cheapskates, but
well, yeah, that's why Bielema left. He's like, I'm tired of staff turnover.
So now we can creep into Illinois. Which three Rose Bowl appearances in a row with that kind of staff turnover, that's pretty freaking impressive.
That's like poor man's Nick Saban.
Or poor man's Andy Reid.
Yeah. Who, by the way, as long as we were just talking about the NFL, like that dude that is the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs is getting screwed over because Matt Nagy sucks so bad.
Yes, I think we can all agree with that.
He is not getting a job because Matt Nagy continues to just suck.
And then me and Brad were talking the other night, Steve. Nice of you to not be able to join us because you live up in Timbuktu, but we were talking about how Helfrich basically got screwed over. Like, you lose your job for somebody. Like, what? Define the role of an offensive coordinator when your head coach calls all the plays and basically does all the offensive game script. Is it just a title and you should just invest more in other things? Like, what is the point of having an offensive coordinator if you're not going to allow him to call the offense?
That's what I don't understand about NFL when they because remember Matt Nagy said at the beginning of the year, like, this is my OC, but I'm calling the plays.
Yes.
What? Does that mean you just install it for him?
That's the problem with Matt Nagy is whenever there's success, he wants people to know that he's the one doing it. Whereas Andy Reid, it's just, he's my offensive coordinator, but I don't brag about my play calling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if your offensive coordinator is doing the install, why are you the one calling the plays?
Exactly.
But that happens a lot. You hear that all the time of like, I install the offense, but he calls the plays. But
I don't know what the point of the job is at that point. Like, I get it. A coach says, you need to run this style of offense. This is what I want to run. That's the head coach's thing, right? And so you as a good offensive coordinator can tailor that whichever way you need to go. But if I'm the one directly installing things and know the steps, then I don't get to call it, like somebody else gets to like do my thing. And then if our offense doesn't perform, I'm the guy that loses my job. That's kind of bullshit.
Like Mike Leach is the OC, but he's the one that says, this is the offense you're running. You position coaches install this stuff. When we come together, I'm calling the plays, and this is what we're doing. Works out perfectly. He has nobody else doing it. NFL,
like a note card that he calls all of his plays from, which is just unbelievable. In the amount of forward thinking in college football, Mike Leach is the keep it simple, stupid guy.
So,
and honestly, like, you think of like high schools that have playbooks that are this thick, and it's like,
we are freaks. Us offensive guys are freaks. I talked to Coach Patrick Taylor. He's a high school coach who went and watched Mike Leach's practice in spring ball when he's at Washington State on the podcast. So it'll come out in a couple of weeks. We talked about that. I'll give you
it's just interesting. I would have a hard time losing my job, and then when I lost my job, like not being like, does anybody else see this? Like, where's Helfrich went to? Since he was a good college coach. He kind of kept it going for Oregon when Chip Kelly left.
I haven't heard a single thing about him. I don't know where he's at.
You want to talk about a good collegiate hire? Because he knows the collegiate game. Same with Chip Kelly at UCLA. Give him his time to install what he wants to do, which is not traditional. Still, people try and emulate it, but it's the same thing. You can have the recipe, but if you don't have the chef, it doesn't matter. That's the chef of the hurry up of what we think it is now.
Yeah, that true no huddle, hurry up, 10 seconds or less.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what drew me to Oregon to start. Like, I liked that style of offense.
Yeah, because we're going to run a lot of plays. And
it's weird because it's the polar opposite of why I became a Jets fan. I became a Jets fan because they ran the power I and like really good defense.
Well, you had Chip Kelly, then you had Art Briles at Baylor. They're doing this 10-second,
yeah.
12-second, and then Babers continues to bring it. And
well, Steve, you as well as I know, like in our level of football, which is obviously way different than college, but alignment is a lot of what makes the defense successful. And if you go fast and they can't get aligned properly, that's why Ole Miss could kind of keep up with Alabama this past year. They were going fast and they were subbing personnel, and Alabama, they were playing reactionary defense instead of being proactive. And when
that's what happened to Clemson, right? Against Ohio State in the playoff.
Yep.
Well, that's how Arkansas was able to kind of compete because Art Briles' son is the OC. So they did the same thing. It was exactly like that. Like they were able to do things against teams we didn't think.
Yeah.
But at our level at high school, you're just calling plays to call plays if you're trying to go 10 seconds.
But I am surprised that Helfrich has not been like in the college name dropping game. Like we just think he just fell off the face of the earth. Because he was actually like a player's coach too. Like he took the mental health thing and the stress and everything. Like he took all that into account. It wasn't just suck it up and you got to be tougher.
Yeah, he has not coached since he left Chicago.
That's crazy.
He joined the Fox Sports crew, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. Did he?
Or am I making that up? I don't know. Dead silent.
No, he's working for Fox Sports now.
Huh. But you're telling me that he wouldn't come back to the college game with the success he had? And if I'm Oregon, as soon as the Bears got rid of him, because Oregon, he moved on to the Bears, right? Or did he get fired?
He got fired.
Really?
Because he went 4-8.
Oh.
And you want to talk about a fan base that is out of touch with what they really are? Like, they have a really good program there, but like 4-8 happens, man, unless you're Alabama.
Oh, sorry, my dog decided to. I don't know what the fuck he just barked at. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like 4-8 is going to happen every once in a while. Like, and you lose a good coach to then go have to ruin his career with Matt Nagy.
Yeah, which was so you get fired and then you go to a place that doesn't allow you to spread your wings and fly. You go to a place where they handcuff you, and now you've basically buried yourself.
And you become the fall guy.
You're the scapegoat.
Head coach can't get it together.
Yeah. But, yeah, Oregon's kind of been not Oregon since, Helfrich maintained, and then I guess,
They have a good thing with Mario Cristobal right now. Like, their recruiting is back to where it needs to be. They're recruiting the West Coast really hard. And if we're being honest about why USC hasn't come back, is if you look at their recruiting, Oregon poaches a ton of their California kids. A ton of it.
And Oregon State is starting to as well, which is a little scary for you.
And you have Chip Kelly at UCLA.
Who's you want to be an explosive offense? Come here, son.
Yep.
We win just by alignment and substitution packages.
Like the Pac-10, or is it the Pac-12 now? It's Pac-12.
Who knows? It's on the West Coast.
You want to talk about – it's going to be the Big 12 on steroids, where it's just spread, fast-paced, super fast dudes. That whole West Coast is going to be that.
Yeah.
Here for the next however many years those coaches are there. Unless you're USC, who we've talked about this way back, has the slowest moving offense I've ever seen.
For a air raid guy.
Yes.
For an air raid offensive coordinator.
They're the least exciting offensive football team. And they were talking about Quentin Slovis being a Heisman candidate. No.
Okay.
That's just you go to a school.
Yeah.
Like you're the starting quarterback at USC, we're going to throw you in there.
So it's reported that Tennessee may not retain Kevin Steele after the new hire, but they still may have to pay him upwards of $900,000.
What a gig. What a freaking gig. So when did he got fired at Auburn, I would assume, right?
Yes. So Auburn.
And yeah. So then he's going to go to Tennessee and possibly get another buyout. Dude, this guy's making like half head coach money just sitting on his ass doing nothing.
Auburn owes him $4.1 million, and Tennessee will owe him $900,000.
So he's going to make more money sitting on his butt than Bielema is going to make over his first year.
So Auburn owes him $4.1 million, and then they owe Gus tens of millions of dollars. And then Tennessee hires him 2 weeks later. Oh, we're going to get rid of you and give you $900,000 to leave.
Yeah. No.
Because Auburn originally was going to pay him $5 million, but when he went to Tennessee said we'll pay almost $1 million of it. So that's where that comes from. Like, we're in the wrong business. Like, shit.
Well, we just need to get to a big high school. Well, you're already at one. I'm not. But then again, I would not want all of that on my shoulders, to be honest with you.
What, a big high school?
Like a huge high school. Like one that pays like 6 figures.
Oh, as a teacher?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even as that, but like some of these really high-end high school coaches that make 6 figures, I guess it would be fun because at that point they're going to give you the resources that things that I think I would need to be successful. The resources probably wouldn't be an issue if you're making 6 figures as a high school coach.
Oh, like in Texas? Yeah, because those head coaches are also the athletic directors. So you do athletic director by day until noon, and then it's football or basketball or...
Yeah. And so that's my thing. It would be nice just from the fact of, hey, I need this. Oh, well, we're paying you 6 figures, so we'll just get that for you. Like, can you imagine being a college coach and the first thing you do, all right, I want this. Okay, we'll get that for you. Huh? You know, I'm sure they have budgets, but it's just...
Let's just put in that request for you.
Yeah. I mean, you look at like that new Illinois facility. Levy was in it for a year. And it's like state-of-the-art rehab and stuff like that. It's nice.
It gets people to come to your building. Exactly.
And it looks pretty badass, honestly. It overlooks like the practice field. Like I always think that's cool. Kind of like Indiana's coaching offices overlook the playing field in the one end zone. I always like that aesthetic.
Bielema on his press conference the other day was like, I had them move me into this office for Zoom calls because I can look out the window and Illinois baseball's in there practicing right now. Or they were in there doing soccer stuff earlier and I just sit and watch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome.
So, but you can also steal things from other coaches in other sports. Like I really like that.
I think that's how Michigan's is because they did that show All for Nothing and they had Michigan on years ago and it showed Jim Harbaugh's office. He's kind of like the same thing. It like looks out to the practice thing.
Do you mean all or nothing?
I said all or nothing.
You said all for nothing.
Well, that was the start of the Michigan debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an off-brand show. Hey, Brad, you can kiss my left ass cheek for that one. Leave me alone.
Well, no, it's a better show name for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
That explains what happened.
Football now.
He got confused like I did. Oh, I thought it was all or nothing. No, this is all for nothing.
We just sit around and waste.
We actually do a follow-up season 4 years down the road. We'll see you in a minute.
Do we get paid for this? No. I don't know what you're talking about. So remember how this was going to be our quick segment? Well, we lied.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, we expounded on some things, so it was what it is.
Hey, there's no football on today. I got time. No,
All right.
I personally have nothing but time.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I got to drive 3 hours south today, and it's like snowing.
Yeah, it's like a snow. Dude, last night was nasty. The snow, like ice ball thing. I don't even know what the hell that was, but it's slush on the ground now.
We have a foot of snow up here.
All right, professional football.
Well, there's Dr. Biscuits.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll sit back.
So you guys said you don't really pay attention to this is way off subject of our normal thing, but you don't really pay attention to the Baseball Hall of Fame stuff.
I just saw they had nobody go in this year.
Yeah, not a single person made the Hall of Fame this year. And there were a bunch of sports writers who made a big deal about leaving their ballot completely blank.
Oh.
Yeah, no, there were guys that this dude made a video about how, like, in the video, he narrated it, and in slow motion, he's like opening his ballot, and then he closes it and mails it back. And I was like, how self-important do you think you are?
Yeah.
Like, you should lose your vote at that point.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, I hate baseball writers. They're the most self-important group of like narcissistic assholes. That's like, oh, well, this guy, we think he might have done steroids, so we're going to take this from him.
Yeah, because, well, here's my thing. So I saw Roger Clemens on the list. They went to freaking congressional court and testified on him. Yeah. I know because my cousin was one of them that did that for him.
And that's my problem is like, you can't have it both ways, baseball. You can't sit here and complain about no one likes our sport anymore. And then the only people writing your sport are these assholes that are like basically the group of people that saved baseball. The steroid era saved baseball.
Yeah, because it was about
done because they had a walkout, didn't play.
Yep.
Everyone hated it. And then next thing you know, like dudes are hitting 60 home runs a year.
McGuire and Sosa happened. That's exactly
your TV numbers go up, ticket sales go up.
And you know what? Like, it's kind of like I don't really blame Lance Armstrong for doing steroids because
did you watch
is doing it?
Did you watch the documentary on him? Mm-hmm. That's what he said. I could either compete and lose every year clean, or I could do what everybody else is doing. Literally, I think it was like the top 25 dudes in the Tour de France were all doping.
Yeah. And you realize those Tour de France guys, like when they stop for the day, they cycle their blood, enrich it, and pump it back into them.
Yeah.
Like, that's way off subject, but the thought that you're just like so self-righteous about this, that you're going to take a group of guys who saved the sport and just basically tell them like, oh, you're not good enough for this hall, put an asterisk on their Hall of Fame bust. Who cares? Like, you're going to tell me Barry Bonds doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and two guys that were on the ballot came out and said, like, take my name off.
Kurt Schilling was one.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to be on this ballot anymore.
Well, I mean, you look at it, I don't know exactly, but, dude, there were some amazing defensive players on that ballot. Scott Rowland, who was probably one of the best defensive third basemen ever.
If we're being honest, Scott Rowland is a –
yeah.
That's the thing. Yes, thank you. And you want to talk about those guys doing steroids, whether they did them or not, saved a lot of those baseball writers' jobs, and no one brought it up. And in the moment, you think a single one of those baseball writers was like, oh, Barry Bonds' hat size has gone up 2 whole inches. Not a single one of them said a word. Like, isn't this great for the sport? And now they're super self-righteous about it and think they're the gatekeepers of everyone's.
Well, you look at it. I mean, so you have Todd Helton, who was in a very small market, in the Colorado small market, was a hell of a baseball player. I mean, you know what? Okay, so you don't think the steroid era guys deserve to be in? Why don't you actually vote for these other freaking dudes then? Why is it, well,
right? If they were clean,
we got to get you on a certain number of ballots before we get you there. You know how pathetic that is to not have a Hall of Fame ceremony? Like, you deem nobody in your sport to be there. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off now, Brad.
Right.
Because somebody deserving in the sport.
Right. And then they just
Scott Rowland should have been a first or second ballot Hall of Famer.
And I feel bad for these guys.
What gloves does that guy have?
These guys only have one more shot. These guys only have one more shot to make in the Hall of Fame. They said one more ballot. If they don't make it, then they never make it in again. Like, they never get a shot. And here's what people don't want to hear. They took steroids, but when you take steroids, you don't become Captain America and can just do this stuff. Like, you have to go work out. You have hand-eye coordination.
You want to be completely honest? You know how many baseball players right now fake ADHD to get Adderall?
No, that doesn't happen, Brad.
Or you want to talk about the amount of guys in the 70s or 60s that are taking greenies?
Dude, that one guy pitched a perfect game on freaking LSD.
Oh, the dude for the Pirates? That's my favorite story of all time.
You know what I mean? Like, they want to act like they're this high and mighty thing, but it's just
Brad, you're a fan.
I like this guy.
That's that confirmation bias shit.
Yeah.
But you look like, to me, Mark Burley, I don't know. I guess Mark Burley doesn't sound like a name to me that I would be like, oh yeah, he had almost a 4 ERA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's on the ballot. But then Roger Clemens, who has a freaking 3.12 ERA, just, oh yeah, well, you know, dude has 140 more career wins than Mark Burley. And Mark Burley will have a better chance to get in the pros because he wasn't, or in the Hall of Fame because he wasn't tainted by something that went before our U.S. Congress. Like, I'm in your boat. It's bullshit.
Guys listening, this is going to be a 4-hour show, just so you know.
No. I mean, that's just, it's ridiculous. Look at Dan Herron. Dan Herron, the dude was barely a 500 starter, and he's on the freaking ballot. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they just like shit out. Just, oh, here's our average players. You know, we'll put that's like an insult to the people who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like a limited. Jacob said it right. Like, you can only have so many.
Yeah,
that's get one more. You only get one more.
Because you're telling me there isn't guys from back in maybe the 70s or 80s that didn't make it in because, you know, you had all these people getting in. And then instead of having nobody this year, maybe you nominate one of those guys.
Or you want to talk about the amount of black baseball players that probably never made it in because there was a group of baseball writers who were racist.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's hard. But the one thing baseball has done that I agree with is it took them until 2021 to do this, but they finally accepted the Negro League
as like a profession.
The statistics?
Yeah.
They added it into the major league.
It took that long for them to go, okay, we'll accept
you're slowly filtering out those type of people. It's taken this long.
Yeah. Well, you look at all the unwritten rules in baseball. It's just stupid.
Well, you want to talk about baseball being stupid anyway. Why the hell can't I stream a Cardinals game unless I'm standing in a certain spot in the U.S.? Like, you want to talk about why your sport isn't viewed by a lot of people? Like, little fun fact, if you went to SIU, you can't watch Chicago Cubs games.
Even though there's probably a lot of Chicago Cubs fans that go to SIU.
Hey, baseball, little fun fact, there's a college there that recruits a lot of kids from Chicago. And I know I lived with 3 of them. And they went years without being able to watch the Cubs. Like baseball is so antiquated and they won't get out of their own way. And I love baseball.
They get stuck on things. Like the guy just talked about P. Rose. You're telling me that affected the way he played?
And it wasn't when he was a player. It was when he was a coach.
Yeah.
And we're being honest, the dude has a gambling problem.
But didn't affect him as a player.
But you know how many people like Pete Rose is their favorite player of all time?
Yeah. Charlie Hustle, man.
Yeah. And he just is never going to make it.
Well, yeah, he's not even on the ballot anymore.
No, he can't.
And so because of that, and I think that's the other thing, that might be why they put the 10-year thing. How long has it just been the 10-year thing since its inception?
I don't know.
Because if you think about it, if you have the 10-year limit on, eventually Pete Rose just fades away.
I don't think Pete Rose was ever on a ballot because he was banned from baseball.
So here's one thing. So what? Baseball is just going to wait until that day because everybody has an expiration date. So they're going to wait for Pete Rose to pass, and then they're going to be like, well, it was probably wrong of us to do this. So then they're going to induct him when he can't enjoy it. That's my other thing is they build these memorials and shit. It's not even when the people can enjoy it or appreciate it, because Pete Rose made the Cincinnati Reds relevant.
He was the centerpiece of the Big Red Machine.
Yeah. Like do you just ignore the whole team? Like that whole history of Cincinnati because, Pete Rose gambled as a coach. Woo!
Johnny Bench is in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's kind of like Reggie Bush never won the Heisman, right?
But we all remember Reggie Bush is probably one of the best college football players we'll ever see.
The most electric college football player.
But he never won the Heisman, though, right?
Yeah, sure. I wonder if he had to give his trophy back.
Well, here we go. Jacob said 10-year rule since 2014.
So that would have been to probably stop the Pete Rose talk because Pete Rose would be on every ballot.
He should be.
Yeah.
Pete Rose is the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Just with all of the shit that he went through, with all of this, he deserves to see the reconciliation before he dies. Like there needs to be a reconciliation because if not, like kids now, like the kids I coach, I don't even think they really watch baseball, but they don't even really know who Pete Rose is. So is he just going to fade away and like our generation, like our age group is the last group that will remember him?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess because they want everybody to shut up. They're like, quit talking about him. Like, but that didn't define his play.
No.
Maybe he tried harder, but he was still very good.
If we're being honest, people have talked to his bookie, and even his bookie says, like, he never bet against his team, which matters.
Yeah, it does. Because you want to talk about some weird-ass situations that have happened in sports where it's like you got a team that's down like 21 points and they've got a field goal and the spread's 17, so they go for or they're at the end of the game and the spread's like 19 and they're losing by 21 and they decide to kick a field goal. You're telling me people ain't paying attention to the lines then? And that's happened, but there's no investigations because of it.
No. And there's certain coaches like Lane Kiffin looks at the spread.
Lane Kiffin does a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why, like Sammy Sosa is on his last year on the ballot.
Was he even?
He was on the list.
Man. Yeah, he got 17% of the vote.
And I'm a Cardinals fan.
So the last ballots, Kurt Schilling, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa.
That's a joke.
It's an absolute joke. And like
steroid or not, like to go through that home run thing with McGuire, toe to toe, like Steroids are not that impressive. All that hard work to do that.
Dude, you look at people that's dude, Nick Swisher is on the Hall of Fame ballot. He's not a Hall of Famer. I don't even know who the hell Nick Swisher is.
Isn't that the cigarette company?
He didn't even have 1,000 RBIs. He had 800, and I'm pretty sure he was like an outfielder, first baseman dude, if I'm not mistaken.
You're going to put him in and over Barry Bonds?
Dude batted 249 for a career. Yeah, that's a Hall of Famer baseball.
There's high school kids that bat better.
You know, like, yeah, you look at the people they're trying to get in now. I'm trying to figure out why they're trying to get them in. Michael Kadire, 277 batting average, 75 stolen bases, 749 RBIs. Yet you have Barry Bonds sitting here, almost 2,000 RBIs, 514 stolen bases, almost a 300 batting average at 298, and he's not going to get in. He'll be on his last ballot.
You know how this works, right? So if it's your first year on the ballot, you have to get at least 5% of the vote.
Right? Oh, so those guys have been struck out. So
those guys at the bottom, they're like LaTroy Hawkins of the world. Like, he won't be on the ballot again.
So Tim Hudson barely made the cut.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Torrey Hunter will be on it again. Mark Burley somehow will be on it again.
Yeah, Mark Burley. Like, king average. Well, I guess he did. What, did he throw like a perfect game?
He did.
One perfect game in an otherwise average career.
But doing it once put you in the Hall of Fame?
But I mean, like, even on the pitching side, Roger Clemens was one of the most electric personalities in baseball.
707 games started. Mark Burley has 508. Like, he's got these guys by 200 career starts.
Mm-hmm.
That is what, 4 or 5 more seasons? What is it normally, like 40 starts for a year? So that's 5 seasons. He's got 5 seasons on them of where he basically people paid to watch Roger Clemens.
It was the same thing with Curt Schilling. Same thing with, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. Like,
I went to a McGwire Sosa game in Busch Stadium, and John Mabry hit the only home run of the game, and the Cardinals won 1-0. And then Sosa and McGwire both homered the next game. And why do I remember that? Well, that was because baseball was actually popular. Now I don't even know half the people on the freaking ballot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm done. I needed.
You know what? For us not having anything to say, I got pretty pissed off when I really started thinking about that, because it's just bullshit to not have anybody. Because there's somebody deserving. You're telling me those Negro League stats, like, they can't put some of those guys on, that now it's like, okay, these guys deserve to be here. But we're gonna bend our nose up. Stupid.
And just
All right. Now we get to actually do football.
That was a nice baseball segment.
It'll never happen again. By the way, Nolan Arenado is a Cardinal. Let's not forget that.
I don't even know who that is.
Who cares about baseball?
For the Rockies.
What does he do?
Am I supposed to care?
He's the best third baseman in the league.
How'd they get him then?
They only basically traded Austin Gomber, who's a bullpen pitcher, because he has an opt-out after this year and next year.
Oh.
So they didn't trade a whole lot to get him, and hopefully they
can do enough to keep him. They still got Goldschmidt. I do know him.
So now they actually have protection for Goldschmidt.
Oh.
Because in our lineup last year, he just didn't have protection.
I don't care.
Do the Cardinals still have the one outfielder guy that they took from the Cubs?
Oh, Fowler? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his last year.
Gotcha. Because he hadn't done anything, has he?
Not really.
When he first got there, he did.
Yeah, he had one good year, and then, like, he's a 230 career hitter. Like, you can't expect a whole lot. He plays good defense, but, like, it's just, I don't know. We pay him a lot of money.
You know,
They're back to things, so I'm not paying attention no more. We're gonna be a good organization, and then
is Steve
we're back to doing Cubs things.
Is did that really go freaky on you too, Brad?
Uh-huh.
Steve, your data must be about up.
Yeah. No, it's the beginning of the. No, it's the end of the month, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I think Steve got so angry about the Cubs it affected his internet connection.
I think his internet connection has the Rona.
Yeah.
I think the Cubs are my safe word. So when I say Cubs, the internet knows to shut off.
All right.
Oh, real quick. Tampa 2 going to the Texans. I say about that. You'll see the Tampa 2 defense was hired as coordinator the Texans. Words. Deshaun Watson.
Are you there, Steve?
All I heard is
you guys have been moving this whole time.
I don't know.
Your internet now.
He's froze. He was froze. He was like, damn it, Steve.
Myself, you guys never froze. You guys were moving, and I could hear everything you guys were saying this whole time.
Yeah, no, you sounded like you were the thing off WandaVision.
Yeah, you said like 8 words in probably that entire paragraph and a half that you went through. But anyways,
yes, I mean, it's your internet then, not mine if you're moving.
Texans, it's conveniently both of our internets, Steve.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Just means your upload is off. Your download's fine, but it's your upload speed of your face and such.
All right. What were you going to say, Nathan? Texans?
Yeah, so now are they going to transition because that Tampa 2, or are you going to transition to a 4-front? And then does Whitney Merciless then come down from that outside linebacker and become a defensive end? You know, we all know because the Bears had to do it, there's a transition from a 3-4 to a 4-3 and back and forth. And then do they even really have a middle linebacker that can play that Tampa 2 guy?
No. And if we're being honest, that Tampa 2 didn't work in college.
It's old now. It's old now. Let's be honest.
Well, if we're being real honest, Lovie Smith is real out of touch as a coach. In my opinion, it felt like he was out of touch.
Yeah. He
college.
Steve, did you just say something? Because your face was froze.
No.
All we heard was college. We're gonna have
to turn off the Wi-Fi on your phone or something.
We're in 2020 and Steve's running Windows 98.
He's got the boom mic. I'm still using my computer mic.
No, I had to break down finally buy a microphone because I was heard myself talk on here and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
No, I feel bad for – I don't feel bad for a lot of the Texans stuff. I feel bad for J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
If the Texans are serious about allowing Watson out of there, they need to trade J.J. Watt too. Let him go somewhere where he can win.
Yeah. Let him kind of try and get a championship for his legacy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the amount of stuff he's done in the community stuff, what else does he have to do? He needs a championship. Well, and he doesn't even really need it. He'll be it without it, but he'll be one of the best defensive players to never get one. Which
sucks.
Yeah, because of all of the stuff that he's done non-football.
That's I don't know. I feel bad for any guy that puts his heart and soul into a team, for a team that is so poorly run.
And is had injuries. I mean, he's had injuries, played through injuries for the team because let's be honest, there for a little while, there was only one reason people were coming to games, and that was because of J.J. Watt for Houston. They didn't have Deshaun Watson 4 years ago. They didn't have anything 4 years ago.
Well, they had a good running game.
Yeah, because people pay to watch people run the ball.
I mean, Arian Foster.
Yeah, okay. But how many Arian Foster jerseys did you see?
I mean, not jerseys, but I knew a lot of dudes that really liked Arian Foster. I really liked Arian Foster.
Well, he was a good running back, but I just don't think that he wasn't the one out playing catch with the fans before the games and shit. You know?
They were kind of the first team that I saw a zone running scheme where I was like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like they were.
Well, who went there that was a zone guy? And weren't they from the Denver Broncos? Because the Denver Broncos were that zone blocking.
Yeah, they kind of, when Arian Foster was there, they kind of looked like a Shanahan team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, we're getting there.
Oh, yes. Yep.
I
hope. Oh, he said just to carry the show for a hot tick. I don't know. I'd assume he's going to come back in. Okay, we got to keep. Oh, there he is again. Okay, so anyways, yeah, I just hope that he can go to a contender. Don't know where that would be, but because you got to think of 3-4 guys, 3-4 active defenses.
Kubiak, that was it. Yep.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're good.
I'm scared.
Which Kubiak's still in the league, isn't he? Isn't he a coach for the Vikings?
He was the OC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna keep it short and simple because I'm scared to freeze.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, here's the deal. Deshaun Watson was pissed off because they didn't interview any minorities for the head football coaching job. And so then they conveniently just go out and hire a lackluster defensive coordinator. Because Wade Phillips is out there. We're all forgetting that right now. Wade Phillips wants to come back, and he's been pretty good. Lovey's defenses have been good, but with what he showed at Illinois, it was kind of like what we talked about with Helfrich's thing, where it was you were here, then you lost your job, then you went and died. In my opinion, Lovie Smith's Tampa 2 defense kind of died at Illinois. Not kind of. We were a terrible defense.
It should have.
But Lovey's an NFL coach, so he needs to be in the NFL.
Now, do I hope he has success? I do.
Yeah, because I think Lovey's a good person, and honestly, I would have taken his 10-6 season with Chicago.
Yeah.
After we got rid of him.
Yeah.
I think he was a great person for the players and stuff. I have no doubt about that. But I think now that everything's kind of transitioned to 3-4 and these different blitz packages and stuff, the Tampa 2s, people have figured that out.
It's a little too rigid. It's not multiple enough to deal with spread offense, getting the ball to guys in space. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So hopefully he adapts.
What?
What'd you say
again?
No, you're good. What'd you say?
I just said hopefully he adapts. Hopefully it's not just straight up.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like with what Belema said with Illinois, I know that this has been my past. This is what I've done, but I want to be more creative with things. What we saw with Illinois was Lovey's going to live and die by one thing. So best of luck. I hope for J.J. Watt's sake they can have a little bit of success, maybe make the playoffs one more time, but it's going to be hard. Getting rid of Watson, and that line's terrible, and their running games, and their defense isn't really that great. Even though they have Whitney Merciless, former Illini, and J.J. Watt, they're still They're not what they used to be.
Nope.
I mean, their golden year was when you had J.J. Watt, who's the DN that just played for the Titans, Jadeveon Clowney,
Yeah.
Whit Merciless was on that defense.
You had Brian Cushing there towards the end of his career.
Oh, yeah.
Where did Matthew play? Was he the Texans? Was he at the Texans at one point?
Literally exactly what we were saying before we started this. Like Brian Packer was the only reason that Tampa 2 worked really well because you're.
I think the Leonard guy from the Colts could do it. Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm a Colts fan, but just throwing that out there.
But keep Lovey down in Texas. Don't want
Now that we're Colts fans,
yeah, we hate the Texans.
Yeah.
Go ahead and run the Tampa 2.
Trade J.J. Watt to the Colts.
And actually, that would be awesome.
Oh.
Because then you're talking DeForest Buckner, J.J. Watt.
Darius Leonard sitting behind him.
You
want
him or Deshaun Watson?
Both. We'll take them in a package deal.
We'll offer them a 3rd-round draft pick.
Oh, God.
Actually, just 3rd rounds for the life of the NFL draft.
Yeah, every year you get our 3rd-round pick.
You get our next 10 3rd-round picks.
You get our 3rd-round picks until you decide you don't want them anymore.
Why hasn't anybody thrown that out there? Because you can still get good players in the 3rd.
Somebody brought up a really good. We need to get to the Matthew Stafford thing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go here.
Okay. Go ahead.
So last night, trying to get Coach West to play zombies, and I said, "Hey, did you just see this? What? Matthew Stafford got traded to the Rams? No. For what? 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick and Jared Goff? Poor Jared Goff.
So not only do you get your replacement, so you get a guy who can kind of carry the torch for you a little, but then you basically get a hell of an investment in the future. And there is no, so I saw this morning, there's no extension clause in there for Matt Stafford when his contract's up.
Yeah, it's
so
2022, I think his contract
how
is
are
up.
How are they going to resign him with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald? You can't have that many mega contracts.
No, actually, I think Stafford's contract is less than Goff's.
Really?
Yeah.
But his next one might not be. Because the market's set it such.
But I'm happy for Matthew Stafford. He's going to go to a team that will legitimately challenge for a championship, at least in the short term, right?
And his coach will be creative for him.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be cool to see what Matthew Stafford can do in a creative offense.
Yeah. But now, if I'm a Rams fan, I better enjoy these next 2 years because they're going to be the Houston Texans.
Yeah. I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and I want to source it, but I don't remember who it was. If I'm going to leverage my future like this, where it's the Rams haven't made a 1st-round pick since they drafted Jared Goff and won't draft in the 1st round again until 2023. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're looking at, what is that, 7-8 years of never having a 1st-round pick?
Yeah.
And admittedly, the guys you are bringing in are a sure thing.
Yep.
You're getting. But
you are setting up a win now scenario, though.
And
you want to talk about the pressure cooker going up, which 1st-round picks are not a sure thing. We've seen plenty of them that have sucked. But at the same time, you are basically saying the next 2 years, it doesn't matter who that pick is,
So here's my thing. If you're a team like the Colts, which we are now a fan of,
Yes.
you're pretty much a set football team, right?
Yeah.
You're missing a quarterback. Instead of saying, hey, I will give you my first round picks for multiple years, why don't they do the Herschel Walker thing where it's like, here's my entire draft for 1 year
And be done with it?
Yeah. So, and then hands off. Now we get to go back to being normal. Like if you're the Washington football team, you have the 18th, 19th pick this year. Go out and tell the Texans, here's our entire draft. We're pretty set as a football team.
We just need the quarterback.
We can lose a year of these guys. Here's an entire draft. We want Deshaun Watson.
If you think about it, though, like for the Colts would be beyond set with Deshaun Watson, but they don't need a Deshaun Watson. They need a Ryan Tannehill style. Let's be honest. Their run game is such. They need a guy that can just play action boot, throw the ball. Mitch Trubisky.
Really, like
it makes kind of sense because when they booted him, he was successful. So they don't need a Deshaun Watson. You look at when you have teams that are thinking of Deshaun Watson, it is our ticket sales suck. And that's why when I saw that posted about Deshaun Watson to the Jaguars, makes a lot more sense because you brought in Urban Meyer. That's kind of a Hollywood hire, meaning like there's a star factor to Urban Meyer. There's a many star factors to most, like Bill Belichick's a star factor. Everybody pays attention to what he's doing. But Urban Meyer is not only a star factor, but he's charismatic too because he's been on TV. People love him, kind of like a John Gruden kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so Deshaun Watson, and if you're the Houston Texans, you are getting the first round pick or the first pick in this draft. Okay, so now we know who our quarterback of the future is going to be. Our new front office gets to pick our guy.
But I wouldn't really want. Here's the thing, like the Houston Texans right now are a bad football team with a really good quarterback. So you're going to get a younger quarterback and beat the crap out of him.
Yep, and then it could be like David Carr.
So if I'm a GM, I would much rather have a team give me their entire draft than 3 first-round picks in consecutive years. Because like if you're hurting for talent, and this year's draft is deep.
Like, especially at offensive line, because they keep on projecting Leatherwood in the second round, keeps pissing me off.
Yeah, exactly. So you're telling me what we talked about the Bears should do. I get Washington's entire draft. I don't know why, but I want him to go to Washington. So
because it's the Washington football team, they're not supposed to be good, but he would make them really good.
They're so close.
Yeah.
Right? Washington gives away their full draft. As the Texans, you can now totally reload. You can get a quarterback in the first round, but you have 2 picks in every round after that. You have a better football team. You can get 2/5 of Alabama's starting offensive line. Do it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm retooling an offensive line, the center would be number 1 and Leatherwood would be number 1. The center would be number 2 because he's going to fall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What about your Jets? Would they give up the second pick and a package deal?
If we're being honest, they should. But the Jets are in the same position the Texans are.
Very
like
true.
They're so hurting for talent. And I always like when people build the team first, and then try your best to find a quarterback.
Right. I'm trying to think who else.
It's kind of what the Bears did, but of course they fumbled it.
No pun intended.
But like if you have a lot better chance of bringing a guy in and developing him to be good if you're bringing him into a good situation. And
Yeah.
Washington's a good situation. They have a good offensive line. They have a really good defense.
Yeah, but Washington's going to have to trade multiple first-rounders because they're just not high enough.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like if you give someone your whole draft.
But even then, I mean, it's Deshaun Watson.
So I give you my whole draft and next year's first-round pick.
That would be a little bit better. Yeah, because I think Deshaun Watson, if you're in the middle of the road, that's 2 first-rounders for sure.
Yeah.
If you're the number 1 pick, it's like, hey, Deshaun Watson be the number 1 pick in this draft.
If we're being honest, though, I don't think the Texans have a lot of leverage.
No, they don't.
So, you know what? I think Deshaun Watson, if they don't make a good faith in trying to trade him, sits out.
Yeah. And then they're really screwed.
Yeah.
Like, they're really screwed. Because Deshaun Watson's made it clear he is not happy there.
And he's not going to do them any favors.
No. Because they've done no favors.
There was a report that he would retire before playing.
Shit.
Because they were talking about if he gets.
So if I'm a team, because you've got so many teams that are, basically they know who they have at quarterback, right? But then you've got maybe, let's see, I'm trying to think. The Falcons maybe move on, but Miami, they have Tua. I mean, they're, and say what you want. Tua playing his first 16 game, his first long season coming off of an injury. He'll get better. But you have the Jaguars, the Jets that need a quarterback. I hate to say it, but Atlanta's at number 4, and you put Deshaun Watson throwing to Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, and with Todd Gurley in the backfield, that'd be fun to watch. But I think unless it's the number 1 overall pick, I think you're looking at 2 first-rounders for sure. The Eagles have their quarterback. The Bengals have their quarterback. The Lions are serviceable enough. I don't think they would trade away. Well, the Lions just acquired a bunch of picks that they never had.
So is Jared Goff going to be traded again and go to the Texans?
That would be interesting because then they could just say, you know what? You can have the 2 firsts from L.A., and you don't even touch our draft. Yes.
Maybe.
Because the Colts are young enough. They could make it work.
I don't know if I would trade that much for JJ, though, because he's 31, 32.
Yeah.
He's right at diminishing returns.
But you would have a top 2 defense in the league because their defense was top 10 already. You put him, Buckner, Leonard behind him, just going sideline to sideline like a freaking missile. That would be a fun defense to watch. Because when you get J.J. Watt, you got to factor in this. You're not just getting a player who is a good defensive end. You're getting a guy that's going to sell a shit ton of jerseys as soon as he's traded.
Oh, yeah.
And so there is a money thing in there where it's more than just the player. You get a Deshaun Watson, there's a shit ton of income that's coming in just from jersey sales and licensing and stuff.
Now I kind of want to see Detroit trade Jared Goff now.
No, could you? I don't think. Well, yeah, they would.
They'd have to trade those draft picks they just got, maybe some others, him to get Deshaun Watson.
No, not really, because the Rams could have survived with Jared Goff. That's the difference that Brad brought up. Either Deshaun Watson's getting traded or he ain't playing. So I just say, I'm giving you 2. I'll give you the 2 first rounders from the Rams, which are going to be low pick, or they're going to be middle to high picks because the Rams are going to be good. those first rounders ain't really worth, too much. It's high second rounder, So we'll give you those two. We'll give you what the Rams gave us. Just give us Deshaun Watson. And if you don't like it, that's tough. You're probably not going to get that from any other team because they either don't have the picks or are comfortable drafting the quarterback in this draft. And Deshaun Watson will retire, and you won't get anything for him.
Yeah, because they said if he sits out, I can't remember. It's so much money each time he sits out. And then if he retires, they don't owe him. They won't owe him some of that money, so it works out. But he'll just retire.
Dude, he has more money than he.
I know, but the first thing they report is money. Yeah, and he don't care. He's like, I can afford it, and I'll retire.
Which I don't blame him. Like, you look at these guys J.J. Watt is super loyal to this team that has failed to put a winner around you. And where does it get you? If you're a guy that championships matter, which if you're Deshaun Watson played for Clemson, I'm assuming championships matter.
I'd say that's number one, even over his personal achievements, because he's been in that collegiate system where.
Now, Detroit's going to be on the up and up, though, I think.
I don't know, though. Their head
coach be biting kneecaps off.
But that's all you need is to bite kneecaps off. I think my voice is going, so if I sound hoarse.
Where did that guy come from?
Saints.
Was he the Saints defense coordinator?
No, he was somebody else.
Saints quality control coach.
He's got to be. If he's. Where the hell did they get the guy? You're not getting the Saints quality control. He's got to be the DC or the OC. And he's too much of a meat. And this is going to sound terrible. Too much of a meathead to be an offensive guy because some of those guys are nerds.
Yeah.
You'll hear an offensive guy, we're going to rip you down by the kneecaps.
Or you haven't heard that since the 1970s.
Well, you haven't heard it since like the 98 Denver Broncos.
He was the assistant head coach / tight ends coach for the New Orleans Saints since 2016.
That was who they decided to hire?
He played 11 years in the NFL and coached 11 years in the NFL.
A lot of really good tight end play in New Orleans.
So he started coaching the tight ends after Jimmy Graham left. That's basically where we're at with this.
In 2015, he became the Dolphins' interim head coach, where he took over a 1-3 team and guided them to a 5-7 finish.
That would be tough to do.
But
they're probably going to finish like that anyways. What, he earned them one more win at that pace?
What interim head coach doesn't take over and at least win 2 games? It's like the team plays for the dude. Like, I don't know. It must be, life is hard as a Lions fan.
Except at Houston, because they did not do well with an intern. Wait.
True.
They were 4-12. I guess, well, yeah, they won a couple games. Yeah.
They were winning against the Lions, and then
their interim head coach was also Romeo Crennel, the oldest head coach in the NFL at that point.
Well,
he could barely walk on and off the field. I felt kind of bad. I was like, now he has to make the shot, call the shots.
But at the same time, I don't see it getting better in Detroit. I think Matt Patricia was more a part of New England's success than this guy of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how he was chosen to be the head coach. If Sean Payton were to be suspended, he'd be the head coach. He was the assistant head coach.
Okay, but he coordinated nothing.
No, I'm saying that's why I don't understand why he's the. We're on the same page, guys. I'm just keeping my comments to a minimum so I don't freeze.
Well, you have. You're like in and out, but it's okay because you can hear us and you're not going to drop. So, but I just find it, if the way that the NFL is now, you want somebody, it's an offensive league. So unless you're getting a Mike Vrabel who's called defense for multiple years and had good defenses for multiple years, Matt Patricia, good defenses for multiple years without like superstar players, you need an offensive home run. And I don't, yeah, now I can kind of understand the whole like, why the hell isn't this guy from the Chiefs getting a look, even though I know Nagy screwed that up for him.
Am I really freezing again?
No. Kind of choppy, but it's whatever. Your audio's good. You just
or
talk.
Is that my voice? Is that my voice is going out? Like physically, my voice is going out.
Well, you just keep talking because I can hear you just fine. It's just funny because your face is frozen, but then there's a sound going with it.
But then why is your guys' is not freezing on my end?
It's your upload speed. Your video is just not uploading fast. Your sound is fine.
Oh.
I can do whatever I want on here, so I just keep doing that. Just watch.
Welcome to the Brad and Nathan show.
Oh.
I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want.
So, anyways, yeah, Jacksonville's in a good position because they actually have, picks that they can trade. Believe it or not, Miami is set up to do all right.
I think Miami's a team that could stand to trade away their whole draft.
Ugh. But do they have to because they have a young, promising quarterback in Tua?
I mean, we've been over this. I don't think Tua's that good.
I think that he's more than serviceable.
But is the goal to have a serviceable guy? Because in Miami, I want Deshaun Watson level.
Deshaun Watson's a Miami personality.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. But I don't think that you have to trade that much with Tua. Tua's showed enough. I mean, he's coming off of foot surgery. It'll be all right. He probably came back early. Should have probably just sat out the whole damn year. And they should have let Fitzpatrick, because that's a solid team. I mean, clearly. There wasn't much of a huge difference between Fitzpatrick and him, but I think he wasn't 100% healthy.
And you could see that. The running aspect to his game wasn't there.
Right. So I don't think you have to sell the well if you're Miami.
Miami's just fine.
Yeah. And so that's my thing is I think, I think Jacksonville makes a lot of sense because that's your Hollywood hire. You've got the cap space to be able to take him in. That's the other thing you got to think about. You can trade draft picks, but there's no money involved in that trade. So you're just you're taking on a contract.
I don't know.
So Detroit would be interesting. Because they could give up a lot and not really give up anything.
Does the audio sound worse when I turn my camera off?
No, Steve, your audio's been fine.
Your audio's fine. It's just your picture freezes and yeah.
Hey, by the way,
I have
a serious bone to pick with you.
I don't have the strength to pick bones right now, so take it easy.
No, I'm going to.
Take a phalange.
Every time I look at the goddamn thumbnail for the video, Nathan and I are making a dumb face.
I don't control that.
And no.
No, YouTube.
Because every single one, you look like, oh, I'm the scholarly guy, and here's my two idiot friends talking about sports.
Now, hold on a second. When you
before we extrapolate this whole argument, can we just talk about where we think he's going to end up?
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, because we've talked about it. Now let's.
I thought you meant me. I was like, my ass is going to go back. I thought you meant me. I was like, I'm going back to bed after this. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So where do we think he's going? I'm going to say. Jaguar. I think Jaguars. I think Jacksonville Shad Khan's an active enough team owner. He's going to say, if we do this, this is it.
I think. I honestly think he's going to Washington because I think Ron Rivera is that dude that will gamble and say, like, give me Deshaun Watson and I'll make it work.
Right. And he's a good enough coach. He made them work with, I mean, Alex Smith coming off of an injury that, we would have never thought he'd come back off of.
And I think that Deshaun Watson would like Ron Rivera.
Here's an interesting one. What about the Carolina Panthers? Pair him up with Run CMC.
They put a lot of stock into Bridgewater, though.
But not really. They can get out of that contract for like $1 million.
Can I just throw a huge theory out there?
Yes.
Jimmy G is reported to maybe go to the Bears. So then you got the 49ers. But hold on.
Quarterback all over again.
But we're Colts fans, so we don't care.
That's true.
True.
But then you got the 49ers and Shanahan involved, maybe with Watson, to put him in Shanahan's offense. Or Deshaun Watson has said before he wants to go to the Jets. So there is that because he wants to play for the head coach. Or Belichick will use his Jedi mind tricks and he'll go to the Patriots.
I would love nothing more than to see Deshaun Watson wearing the gang green.
Thank you, Jacob. We're on the same page here.
Like Deshaun Watson in that green uniform, absolutely. I don't think the Jets have the bullets in the chamber to get him.
It's New York. They've got the bullets.
They do have the second pick. So, I mean, it isn't like that's really damn. I mean, you're the bridesmaid in the draft.
Yeah, but the prospect of who are you taking number 2?
If you're the Texans, you got no leeway, though.
That's better than having the 18th and not having a shot at any quarterback.
I would take 18th, and I'd take Mac Jones.
No, the Patriots are going to take him at 15, so you ain't going to be able to touch him.
The Patriots never draft first-round quarterback.
Yeah, they've also only had 2 quarterbacks in the last 30 years, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I don't know. So we all said where they're going, right?
Yes. Yep. Wait, did Steve? Because he just threw out another rumor mill thing, but he never said where.
I think the Jets or the Patriots.
I don't see the Patriots giving up that draft capital. They're always the Wizards on draft day. I have a hard time thinking that they're going to sell the farm.
I don't know. You both froze earlier, so I was like, it wasn't me this time.
Oh. We never froze on each other. Must be that Chicago internet up there. Down in the Midwest, we're good.
We have a foot of snow outside, so I'm blaming that, and it's still going.
Oh, it's snowing good here now.
Yeah.
It came up to my shin.
3 hours.
The snow came up to my shin, so.
And you're like 18 foot tall, so that, yeah. So that does mean something. For us short guys, it doesn't mean shit. It's like, oh, there's 3 inches of snow.
You're above 6'1". What a freak.
That explains the disease I have. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, you were up too high in the air. That's where Corona
So, Steve, where did you say? You said Jets.
Yeah.
Jets, Jaguars, and what did you say, Brad?
Washington professional football team.
Okay, perfect. Nice to know they're not an amateur team.
Now, can I defend myself from Brad's earlier pissiness?
Well, I mean,
make me look stupid in the thumbnail every time.
Can I tell you what happens when YouTube uploads this? They say you can change the thumbnail, but they only give you 3 options. So whatever they screenshot, that's all you can pick from.
YouTube.
Unless I watch the video again and screenshot it, which I will not do because I have to do the audio. I'm not doing it.
Can we do like the opening scene for us where my head was tucked into my hoodie?
Who knows? That might be a thumbnail.
That doesn't take that long, Steve. You literally watch the first 3 seconds. I've just troubleshooted the whole problem.
Or do
Brad was laughing, so it looks like he's having a good time. You were laughing, looks like you're having a good time. And I look like an untrimmed man hang. I do. Oh my gosh. Okay, Steve, what's up next? Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's do Super Bowl. I'm not going to talk about the Bears. It was just rumored Jimmy G was going to go. If Matt Nagy wasn't there, I'd be excited. The fuck is that?
I'm just going to try and get as dumb thumbnail stuff as possible now, since you evidently don't care about us, Steve.
Brad, I will drive down there.
These don't even. This is for my Xbox. This doesn't even.
Steve doesn't care about the quality of the thumbnail of this podcast. Yet somehow, if there's okay, you can't tell me that the thumbnail's randomly assigned and you always look good in it.
Dude, look at this.
Brad, Brad, have you seen my face? I look good in nothing, so I could care less.
So, anyways, we cut you out. Even
Wait,
better.
There's your fucking thumbnail.
All right, let's get back.
Here's your fucking thumbnail. Or here's your thumbnail.
There we go. Thank you, Steve.
Steve, that's 5 thumbnails, and people only have 2 thumbs.
I'm just giving Brad a fucking variety. Here, we're gonna keep moving it around.
Hey, Steve, I'd like to thank you for your service right now.
Yes, your Roni service.
Yes.
I'm doing this on a handicap and giving me shit.
I'm trying to make you better. This is my coaching. I'm your Bud Kilmer, right?
You need a good thumbnail.
You're gonna be second string all your life, son.
No. This can be like a Marv thumbnail where you just put something that has nothing to do in here. So you like take a picture of like, I don't know, Scarlet Witch or something, and you just slap it up there, and we don't reference it at all. So you just put something up there that has nothing to do with what we did. Because that's what Marvel does to throw people off the scent. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to just start putting weird things in the background during this podcast, and we're just not going to discuss it.
It's what can you sneak into the back of, yeah.
Well, like
right now you have that candle. Yeah, I like it.
No, little not safe for work thing really quick right now. There was a lady that was on a CNN broadcast. No, there's a
I threw people off the scent.
There was a lady that was on a CNN broadcast, and like, you know how they always have the fake bookshelf in the background with books they've never read?
Yeah.
There was a dildo sitting on the bookshelf for like her entire 10-minute segment.
The unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Bears quarterback. Steve, you said we're getting a Garoppolo. That's just.
Oh, Jacob, I would love to, but.
Different podcast.
I haven't even watched this episode, so don't talk about it.
It's huge, but not as huge as they promoted, but the next one, yes.
Okay. Continuing on, Bears quarterback, you're saying Garoppolo. I'm saying, well, it would be cool when he actually had promise.
Well, he hurt his ankle, but I also think any quarterback that goes to Matt Nagy, I'm like, nah, that's all right.
He is not overachieving under Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan, who makes every quarterback look good.
Look at what he did with the Falcons offense. Look what the Falcons offense has been without him.
I think it's more probable Jimmy G goes back to the Patriots.
If we're being honest about the Bears right now, the Bears are going to wait to draft the Kellen Mond of the world in the 5th round of this draft. And then we're not, but
No,
Bears fans are going to endure another year of
what are the odds that
Nick
what are
Foles.
the odds that what are the odds that we start watching the Colts and the Bears are like, oh, we're 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. What are the odds?
It's not going to happen.
We're committed. We know what Nagy's teams do. They already hate him.
Yeah.
This is only going to be the icing on the hate cake.
What's the over-under games next year before Nagy gets fired?
5.
5 or 6.
I say makes it 7 games.
They have an insane – did you see the schedule?
It's like the second hardest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
Hey, but congratulations to Trubisky on getting engaged. That's the best thing that's happened to him this season.
Congrats. And he's a good dude. And I wish him well with wherever team he goes to because he'll be just fine.
I just want Aaron Rodgers, but that's not going to happen.
No.
So
what do we think about the NFC and AFC championship games?
Well, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. I think if you're a head coach and you inexplicably forget that you have Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback,
all right, so
you should lose your job.
I was going to say,
oh, hey, go coach Notre Dame and lose in the championship game some more.
Coach West.
In the playoff.
Coach West, would you have gone for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Field goals easier if you have those points ahead of it.
No, Steve, would you have gone for it?
Yes, you have the MVP. Of course you go for it.
And little fun fact.
Tell you right now, I tell my quarterback, hey, remember, this is 2-down territory. Because I think he thought, okay, don't turn this over and we kick the field goal. I think that was in all of their minds, hey, just don't turn this over, we'll just kick the field goal. And that's why he didn't take off running with the ball.
Well,
because how many times did we see him run to the front pylon against the Bears in that exact same situation?
Well, I kind of give him a little leeway. He was about to get tackled. Somebody was right behind him, and they're all right in front of him. I'm thinking he's probably thinking, like, I'm going to take a shot, and I just can't because I'm 38 years old.
I mean, I hate to tell you this, but if it's between taking a shot and going to the Super Bowl or watching the Super Bowl for 2 weeks from then, I guess I'm taking the shot.
I think the decision was stupid on 2 parts. Like, one, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, even though he's 37 years old, 38 years old. 2, you're expecting to get the ball back, and I don't know if you realize this, but the other team's quarterbacked by Tom Brady.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, did you hear what he said?
Tom Brady's a really good quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers said this was 4-down territory. Rodgers said when he was going down there, he said this was 4-down territory, and then all of a sudden the field goal thing was coming on.
Yeah, so clearly there was a discourse. But isn't that the first time LaFleur's been in that position? Yes. Did they make it to the NFC Championship game the year before? I don't think they did they?
No, but they also had a bad playoff game last year.
Yeah. So, and this is my thing with Josh Allen as well. It's first time being there, you learn. Because LaFleur's a good coach. But he is probably thinking, okay, Tom Brady really hasn't done anything in the second half, though he played his best half of football in the first half. But Green Bay's defense has always sucked against the run. And Tampa Bay they were going to shove it down your throat. And that set up other things. So I don't know. I'm going for it, but I'm calling a play that requires a run into the end zone as opposed to throwing at the end zone. You know, you get the ball out to Chris Godwin in the flat and give him a 3-yard running start to hit or not Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams Robert Tonyan, who they've used great in the red zone, he's going to fall. You go to a guy who's going to fall forward when they're going into the end zone. Or somebody, or you come out with trips or whatever, and you run that running back out and you do a little under route and just let him make a play but Aaron Jones had fumbled. I guess he was out, but the Jamal Williams guy was running his ass off. The Dillon guy was having a hell of a game. So
I think it looks even worse that Rodgers didn't have a guy to throw to when you drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Yes. Yep.
Like your second receiver is, what is that guy's name? It's like Demarius
Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah.
And then Lazard was having a big game, which Lazard is like the Hines Ward of the Green Bay Packers.
Sinquarius St. Brown or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I don't remember there being that big of a stink when they drafted Aaron Rodgers with Brett Favre, but Brett Favre also had Donald Driver and Greg Jennings. So he was set. He had a couple options on the outside, and him and Donald Driver, and that was a connection for a while.
Yeah, he was like Donald Driver and Hines Ward are that like cool security blanket receiver. And right now, Rodgers has Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
It's hard, but then you think about legacy, like Drew Brees only won one NFC championship. Aaron Rodgers has only won one. Like, you can be an all-time great quarterback and not be Tom Brady.
It's not
how long did Aaron Rodgers sit?
2 years.
4 years, 3 years, or 4 years.
When was he drafted?
2005 or 6.
Brett Favre didn't have that. They had Sam Gatto at running back. They were 4-12.
Oh, he was a high pick.
He was the first 24th overall. He was supposed to go he was supposed to be his second. It was between him and Alex Smith.
Yeah, so he went 24th.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be in the top 5. So, but what year was that?
2005.
05? Yeah, so he had Robert. Dude, they shit on Brett Favre too. So I guess that's just that.
And then he started in 2008.
Yeah, he sat for 3 years.
Yeah, but they shit on Brett Favre. Your running backs, Sam Gatto. Your tight ends, David Martin. Who the hell is that? And your wide receivers, Robert Ferguson. And they go out. They just did a Green Bay thing all over again.
The first person to catch a touchdown pass from him was Greg Jennings.
Yeah, but you look at the 05 Packers, they let Amon Green go, who was their leading rusher forever, and they go out and they pick him up. They didn't get Greg Jennings till the next year. And then Amon Green came back. So Amon Green must have been hurt.
Is this just a Packer thing to not treat your quarterback?
It almost seems like it is. I mean, yeah, because they didn't have Jennings and Driver combination until after they drafted Aaron Rodgers.
Now, do we think he's going to leave Green Bay, or is he going to stay?
He seems like the person who would be vindictive and would want to beat Green Bay. but it would have to be on a team with a solid defense and a few weapons. Like if you think about it, Tom Brady, when he went to the Buccaneers, that's the best offense he's ever played in since they had Randy Moss in New England. That's the first time he had weapons in I don't know how long.
Yeah. If he leaves, it has to be on a team that's going to win, obviously. Team with offensive weapons and a team with a competent defense.
Now, here's one. What if they somehow no, they got Stafford. Trade Matt Stafford to the Green Bay Packers. Stafford has more years left in him. Aaron Rodgers has like 2. Can you imagine? That'd be nasty.
It's funny you bring that up because they brought that up. They said Aaron Rodgers was from California.
He's from Chino, California.
He played JUCO ball there. So they were talking about him going to the Rams with McVay.
Could you imagine that? You'd only have like 2 years before that whole thing would blow up.
I keep saying put him with like Sean Payton.
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan, put him with 49ers. Yeah.
49ers with Rodgers would be a lot of fun because he's mobile.
Is he on Mount Rushmore without the Super Bowls when it's all said and done? I mean, he's one of the best talents we've seen at quarterback, but
no, I think it would probably go Montana, Elway, Brady. I'm not putting him above Peyton.
I think Peyton's on Rushmore with Brady. Peyton Manning redefined quarterback play.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember his Denver Broncos stuff, but dude,
those Colts years.
You don't understand how shitty his defenses were when he was with the Colts. And really, how until they got Jeff Saturday, how incompetent his offensive lines were.
Yeah.
That dude got his ass beat.
You want to talk about backing up the Brinks truck, though, for Green Bay to deal Aaron Rodgers to San Francisco. It's like, make me a deal I can't refuse.
Your next 7 drafts. No, I think, honestly, if you did 2 drafts, that's serviceable. They have a great defense.
Johnny Unitas is interesting. I think it's hard though because
it's the generation thing.
Yeah, generation style of football.
What about Terry Bradshaw? Terry Bradshaw won a ton of Super Bowls with Pittsburgh.
He did, but I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get to this in a little bit.
He also was the backup to Phil Robinson from Duck Dynasty.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, did you see the Rams sign Delvin Hodges, that like weird guy that was the backup for the Steelers that's like a professional duck caller? That's what he does. Like he is a part-time NFL quarterback and then leads like people out.
Nation in ducks called.
Yeah. They call him Duck Hodges.
Oh my God.
Oh, my nose is on fire.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I think Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to give him the chance to draft somebody because he's made it known that he's pissed. And they're going to need weapons for that next guy anyways. You know what I mean?
I think he's got a year or 2 left in Green Bay.
Yeah. Because they're not going to let him go, right? There's one thing to it's like in a fantasy football league, I'm going to draft the best wide receiver, though I have 3 wide receivers because somebody else doesn't have him. It's kind of that thing. I'm not going to give somebody the Hail Mary king. Like, you think of how many just crazy-ass throws that dude's had?
And still does.
Yeah.
At an advanced age, he still has one of the best arms in the NFL.
Yeah, and can move when
Like,
he has to.
He was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes.
He's
Yeah,
in,
Patrick Mahomes is damn near genetically engineered to play quarterback. If you think about his throwing angles and stuff, he's just unbelievable. But he trains all of that. That's the thing, is he's multiple modality. Like, he's not the old school football training shit. He is outside the box. The shoulder stuff he does from every angle, every throwing angle on both sides.
Patrick Mahomes is a hybrid of if you took Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford's like ability to throw from arm angles.
Yeah.
He's like the perfect hybrid of the two.
And then given the running ability of like above average quarterback.
Well, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is on contract through 2023.
Yeah, he won't be going anywhere.
No.
Well, maybe that last year if there's an opt-out, but I doubt there is.
Send him to the Jets again.
And then we have the Jets to Minnesota chain all over again. It's like Brett Favre. We're gonna relive this every like 15 years.
Things that make me happy. Seeing past their prime Packers quarterbacks go to my other favorite team.
All right. Moving on. Right? What are we
Yeah.
talking about now?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? The not GOAT or Patrick Mahomes?
So the official betting line is Kansas City minus 3.5.
Yep.
Over under 56.5. Betting wise, you got to bet the over.
Yeah.
There's no way that under hits. And do I think the Kansas City Chiefs win? Yeah, but I want to see Tom Brady get number 7. So I'm going to say the Bucks by 7.
Ooh.
I'm going to say the Bucks by 3, and that's just because I want Tom Brady to unseat Robert Ory in the rings number.
Kansas City by 10.
I think they'll find a way to neutralize Tyreek, and I think they'll keep Travis Kelce.
He'll be
Young
interesting.
Tyreek. They have Levante David. Will be interesting to see with Winfield coming back, which is who I wanted the Bears to draft last year.
And has played out of his mind this year.
Yeah. He's, and then what was the Whitehead guy? What was his? You want to talk about a guy who was flying around like a ballistic missile before he hurt his shoulder or collarbone or whatever. That Whitehead guy Whitehead, the other safety for the Buccaneers, he was killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was impressive to watch because it was this downhill safety that we haven't seen in a while.
And it's really hard to be a downhill safety now.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be Brandon Browner anymore.
No.
Or who was the...
Well, you can't be like a Bob Sanders or...
DJ Swearinger.
Yeah. Just a downhill ass kicker.
Yeah. Okay, so if Winfield comes back, wins the Super Bowl, the Bears have to turn over their whole front office?
Yes, because I'm just so pissed off. It's literally sitting there in front of you and you do stupid shit. Yes. I think they'll bracket his ass is what I think. And they have fast enough linebackers to keep up with Kelce. Though Kelce's a great tight end. It's going to be the ultimate chess match, but I think the Buccaneers have a good enough defense to make it happen. And Vita Vea is a run stopper. run pass option, if you just make it pass option, it's a different ball game.
It'll be interesting going against the chef.
Yes.
See what happens.
Yeah. I'm sure Andy Reid will have some way. Dude, Tyreek Hill has the best Canadian Football League motion in the NFL.
Yep.
That freaking zero. Well, you thought.
And he doesn't lose speed when he does it either. That's the crazy part.
No. You can tell he's an elite movement guy, because really fast, really good athletes can decelerate really fast.
It's like Ocho Cinco back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. But Tom Brady with those weapons, I could see them use Gronk. See, that was the other thing, it was like, oh, Kansas City get this pressure. But if you watch that game, Tampa Bay kept Gronk in a lot to help with pass protection, to keep Brady upright, because they knew on the outside they had an advantage. You have Scotty Miller, who's a flyer. You've got Chris Godwin, who's a hammer when he gets the ball. You've got Mike Evans, who's a great jump baller, but he drops half his passes, and that's why he's not elite. He's elite size and subpar hands.
It depends on which Tom Brady shows up. First half Packers, they win. If it's second half, it's over.
I think that it changes a little bit, though, because you do what you can to protect Tom Brady through the season and even early in the playoffs. But I think at a certain point, like in the Super Bowl, there's not going to be any, hey, we keep Gronk in to protect Tom Brady.
I think they keep him in and then just kind of, it's like a delay.
Yeah.
As like the safety. I think they mix that up. They'll keep the running back in a little bit. They'll keep him in a little bit and keep you guessing.
I just want it to be known. I want to root for Tom Brady, but you two have forced me to not root for Tom Brady, so I can't.
That's okay.
I just want old Timmy to come in and teach Patrick Mahomes a lesson about what it takes to be a champion.
Here's fun fact. The only person to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is Tom Brady.
Well, he doesn't play defense, so he never really beat him.
Well, he also marches you down the field and gets you the game-winning score. So
I'm just stirring the pot.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we're aware.
I'm going to stop.
You're prodding, and you're about to get a worse pimp slap than most Danville hookers.
So I just made this decision in the last 3 seconds. Every time I stir the pot, my voice disappears, so I need to stop. This is God telling me. And my nose starts to get burned. So I'm like, no, this is God telling me to stop.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Before you guys pimp slap me with your ring fingers.
I got my gold on.
What the 5 fingers say to the face?
I smack.
You guys watch Family Guy?
No.
Yeah.
I watch old Chappelle show.
Did you see the episode where Quagmire is a hooker and Peter's his pimp? He's like, I have set 5 appointments. That's a lot of money. He goes, no, Peter, I can't do it. And he kicks the door in with like his cane and his robe and his fingers. He goes, what'd you say to me? What'd you say, boy? And he smacks him and he goes, you're going to do what I tell you to do, bitch. And then he goes, what's in your pimp cup? And he goes, oh, I'm on a cleanse.
No, the best one of all time is still Chappelle's Show with Wayne Brady.
Yes, that's
and Wayne Brady pulls up. And he's like, is Wayne Brady going to have to get out this car and smack a bitch?
No, there's so many Chappelle shows that we can't even mention now with the woke society that are way better, but that's probably the most rated G Chappelle show there ever was.
Yeah, but just to have Wayne Brady come and do that, he's like, that's angel dust. It ain't no after school special. Smoke it.
All right, but what were you going to say, Steve? Said before something.
Well, before you guys pimp slap me with your rings and cane.
He's got to go pee.
No, like what are we going to talk about?
Oh, Illinois basketball. Yeah, we almost forgot.
Be happy first. Or I be happy first.
So, doesn't it feel good to have something good happen? I know that's a really stupid way to say that, but how often have we had just sadness?
To beat the brow?
Like, just to have Illinois go into a game where it was like a toss-up.
Well, the game we've been looking forward to all year.
And
this has been the game.
The game the players have been looking forward to.
Yes. The hype videos have been looking forward to.
Like, it's fun to see two teams that genuinely hate each other. Mm-hmm. And, like, Steve, did you watch the whole game?
I had to go to bed about the 7-8 minute mark.
I mean, you're sick. But at the end of the game, Kofi misses a rebound, gets his own rebound, which he shouldn't have been able to get, right?
Yeah.
That was just a good hustle play. He makes both free throws, and there's 5 seconds left on the clock, and Kofi doesn't even run down the court. He goes over to the bench and hugs Antigua, and it's just like, whatever, we just won this game.
Yeah, I just iced this.
And he held Luka Garza to less than 20 points.
Which is insane because in the early part of the game, we were kind of letting Garza do what he wanted to do and shutting down the perimeter.
It was
nice to have an expectation and be on the right side of the expectation. It was nice to have, like, looking forward to the game and not only have a great showing, but win.
Absolutely. Even this year, we've had a couple games where it's like, okay, this is Maryland.
Yeah.
They're not good. We need to win this game. And you lay an egg.
I think, honestly, they say we need to win this game, but do they really believe that they need to, like, up their game for that? You know, that's what makes this team scary. When they have to play good teams and they believe that they're playing a good team, we do play pretty well. We had a short stretch against Baylor that basically stretched the game, and that we played bad for like 5 minutes of a 40-minute game.
But if you do that against Baylor, you're sunk.
Exactly. But, you know, we believe that Iowa was our test, and that's what it was all piped up to be, and we handled our business. And especially coming off, we had just lost, right? We lost a previous game.
No.
I can't. It had been 11 days. We had a long layoff.
So we beat Penn State. Michigan State got postponed.
Yep.
Then, yeah, we had Iowa. We had lost 2 in a row before that. We had lost to Maryland, lost to Ohio State. And now, I'll be honest, our schedule up until this point has not been good.
Right.
We got the easy part of our Big Ten schedule first. I think did you watch the little video of Brad Underwood coming into the locker room after the game?
I missed it.
Man, that dude, I'd play for that dude any day of the week. Like, he seems like he's a real passionate guy, cares about his players. But I'm pretty sure, and I'm probably quoting him wrong, but he was like, what you did tonight is like where it can be. And if you're this team, the sky's the limit. Like, you haven't begun to scratch what you can become if you play like this, you know. And that gave me goosebumps because I was like, you know, he's telling the truth.
You know what I think happened? I think we got Verdonk in the game, and that changed everything.
What have I been saying? No, okay, so Coleman Hawkins didn't play, right? And
Anderson played his ass off, though.
So they said, why did Coleman Hawkins not play? And you put Verdonk in there. And I thought about it, and I was like, Coleman Hawkins would get eaten alive by Luka Garza.
Because of the size.
Yeah, at least Verdonk has the weight, the physical weight, to make old Garza out of just yamming on him. Right. And I like Coleman Hawkins, but the dude needs to gain weight.
I like Coleman Hawkins more on the perimeter right now. Like, I have no doubt he could take away like a pick and pop action, but as soon as, which really he is, he's a forward. He's not a center.
No.
He's not a paint guy. He's like that. Who's a really long wing, like a Darius Miles. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. Like if they get Kofi back, which I don't know, if Kofi goes on a stretch where he plays like he did, we're going to.
Yeah.
But I think there's the chance Kofi comes back for another year.
He needs
just because he has problem with the inside out game. Like, I'm surprised Iowa didn't put him in more pick and pop scenarios with Garza.
Well, they tried, but he actually had a good game defending the perimeter with Garza.
Yeah.
I think
there was a lot of good help going around when
yes, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Fun thing, did you see Io retweeted because Coach Underwood said Garza is the best player in the country, and Io retweeted it?
A lot of people like photoshopped his face on Jordan. He's like, and I took that personally.
Well, you don't think that doesn't motivate him though?
Oh no, and that's a masterclass by Brad Underwood.
Yeah.
Because how many times this year has he told Io, like, go show me you're the best player in the country? And he does it every time.
Yep.
But
I also liked early in this game, and me and you watched it together, and so we talked about this, but I liked Io was trying to get it going early. It was like, I'm not going to allow a 3-minute run here where I don't have a scoring opportunity. And he made it. And I like that because it kept us, when some people weren't necessarily firing, he was just keeping us right in the thick of things.
And if you noticed, like, I like when Io does that because he's an elite player.
Yeah.
And the thing about an elite player is they're not exactly heat check guys. Like, they can turn it on, turn it off.
Yep.
So in the second half, he didn't score very much.
Nope.
But he played elite defense.
Yeah.
And if we got behind, yeah, he had the ball.
Yep. Yeah. But he kept us in the game early. And I think that was the big thing, was not letting Iowa have a quick 10-0 run in the first half. And it was pretty important not to do that.
I think the other thing to think about here is I think we found the correct starting lineup bench rotation.
Yeah.
With Grandison starting, putting DeMonte on that second unit, because then you have DeMonte out there when Curbelo starts to be, I'm going to go 1,000 miles an hour and turn the ball over 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. He can be the calm in the storm kind of thing.
Well, and then you have the 2 guys. You have Trent Frazier starting, and then you're bringing DeMonte in, so you always have a senior on the court.
Yep. And Georgie gets very emotional sometimes too.
Yeah, good or bad.
Georgie did not have a good offensive game, but I said this while we were watching the game. Like, when his post moves work, they're beautiful.
Dude, Kofi didn't actually have that great of a game.
No.
He didn't even have a double-double. He had 9 points and 10 rebounds.
Grandison had a double-double.
Grandison had a double-double. Miller didn't score at all. Curbelo had 8 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. It's a little triple-double machine. Georgie only had 3 points. DeMonte had no points. Frazier and Io had well over half the team scoring, 24 and 25.
But yeah, Georgie's post-game moves that night looked like a 6th grader from Oakwood.
Yeah. Well, he tries going too fast sometimes. Like me and Brad, that reverse layup thing that he does, Brad brought this. When it works, it looks so good. And then when it doesn't, it's like, where in the hell, what are we doing?
If it doesn't work, then he's the white guy at the YMCA playing on the court.
Yeah, he's on a different court than everybody else. Like everybody's like, just put him over on one of the side hoops. He doesn't even get a main court hoop.
He's on the side hoop.
He's the guy that gets brought in when you don't have enough players.
And actually, it's reluctant. You try and play 4-on-5, but it's just so unfair. You got to have the extra dude.
Just a body.
He goes to the wooden backboard in the Oakwood gym. You don't even get the nice backboard. You have to go to
the plywood backboard.
Plywood.
No,
So once I get these antibodies, I want an invite to the next Illinois game once these antibodies kick in.
Well, Brad would have to come up then, too.
I mean, I will.
I mean, he's vaccinated, and I already had it, Steve, so you could have just came here and whatever.
I'm not allowed to walk outside. The dog has to use the toilet. I can't leave.
What, are you on freaking prisoner watch?
Oh,
You
yeah.
just walk outside.
Because when they test you, they put the chip in just in case you have it, so they know.
They install it in your frontal lobe.
That's why the first one went so far in.
That's why, yeah. Yeah, let's just not go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. That's why it
Oh,
devolved.
so align a game day next. That's the next.
No, no.
Oh, hold on. I got one. Keep going.
No, so how great would that game have been with fans?
Yeah.
Let's fix Indianapolis.
I honestly would have been there.
Colts game.
I would have been at the Illinois-Iowa game. I would have StubHubbed it. I would have been there.
I hate Iowa, and then the more I watched the game, I was like, I really hate Iowa.
I hate Garza's that guy. Garza is that guy that you hate if he's on the other team. And he does like the little like big guy emotional things where he's like, and he like pumps his arms real fast because he gets excited and then doesn't really do much.
And their coach is a baby. He's a big baby.
Oh my God. Well, and how many of his kids does he have playing for him?
Right.
Can we get one of those that's actually worth a dip? We get Tyler Underwood, who's probably going to be on the team next year because of COVID. He's going to be like an 8th-year senior.
They just allow it. I don't understand how like every college coach in the NCAA has a college-age child. The coach's son is always on the team.
It is. Yeah.
It's amazing.
As a coach or a player?
Yeah, Jacob the McCaffrey.
Garza had a terrible game. 19 points and 4 rebounds. Now, he was in foul trouble, but 4 rebounds. 4 rebounds.
And you know the funniest thing is like evidently last year after Garza got blocked at the end of that game, he like left and went into this weird depression. And they said he spent a month figuring out what he could have done differently at the end of that game.
Really?
And it makes me so happy that he failed.
All right.
You can be excited.
Sure.
For now.
So he breaks some
in
ribs.
3 years. It's 3 years. You'll have Stafford for the last 2 of his contract, and then I don't know how they re-sign him with Ramsey and Donald. Because then you've got to think Leonard Floyd's playing out of his mind, and what's his contract?
I think they signed him to multiple years. I don't know. We're still talking about Illinois basketball, though.
Yes, sorry.
Like,
can Garza just fix his eyebrows?
Oh, he signed a 1-year deal. He's a free agent.
Oh, he's going to go get paid.
Yeah, he is. So he'll be gone.
But no, Garza, I think he has the Duke thing where it's like you have a hateable face.
It's a caveman look. His forehead comes out farther than his freaking nose. This could just be my quarantine talking, but it just bothered me. I was also on medicine.
I despised him last year just because he was good. And it was like when he got going, he was that annoying got going. And like the camera would always show him and he'd be like, you know, like I know it's an emotional leader thing, and when Kofi hit that referee in the head last year, celebrating the and one. Personally, I was there, and I thought, "Oh my God, I think you just killed him." But yeah, I was there for that, and I think I was the only one live that saw it because everybody's going crazy because it was on an and one, and he freaking throws that fist and clocks that referee, and I go, "Oh shit." And everybody else is just cheering. This referee's laying on the ground. They're like, "What happened?" And I'm like telling everybody around me.
Jacob, it's a horse face. I'm acquainted with the look.
Rothman is a Garza fan.
All right, we have a big one here. Rams haven't had a first rounder since McVay has been there.
No, and okay. So hear me out on this. The Rams obviously paid their big guys a lot of money, right? You have a cornerback, top paid cornerback in the league, defensive tackle, top paid defensive tackle in the league. You now have a really expensive quarterback again. You don't really want first rounders after that because they're expensive.
Yep.
That being said,
but you get that fifth-year option that keeps them cheap.
You have a fifth-year option, but it puts a lot of pressure on you in the long term to hit on your other draft picks.
Let's look at the roster.
Or
they've gotten lucky. They've had a bunch of veterans sign lower-end contracts.
And find guys like Leonard Floyd.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they had to get creative with his because of the cap. They're going to lose him because he just played worth well more than $10 million as an edge rusher. That's what he got with them.
That's what he was getting paid, $10 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
That's a good way to look at it because that Goff contract is terrible.
Now, how bad do we feel for him?
Do you remember Tavon Austin getting a crazy contract from the Rams?
Yeah, and never did anything.
Yeah.
That was
you got Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to want to get paid. I mean, he's had if he can get signed and paid by somebody, he'll do it. Whitworth will probably retire if we're being honest.
That's the reason you kind of need a first rounder.
Yeah,
you're going to need a tackle.
Because other than Jalen Ramsey, dude, I mean, you look, it's Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and a bunch of people you've never heard of.
They have a really good safety.
Which one? Jordan Fuller or John Hughes?
No.
That's their two starting safeties.
They already extended Kupp?
I don't know. The name is LA Rams, so I have to go with.
Is this Sean McVay?
Are you listening to us, Sean?
Sean.
If you're listening, I'll send you the link so you can just jump on.
We can ask you random plays from random times, and you have to recite the entire thing. But
if Sean McVay jumped on this call, we would get booted off of this so fast.
Yeah, we would. He'd be like, "Oh, sorry guys, I didn't want to get dominated in the Tom Brady Michael Jordan thing." So,
and then all of a sudden, both of them would look good in the thumbnail.
Woods, dude, they either have to have the most creative front office guy in the NFL, or something. How do you pay all those people?
Are they pulling up Patriots and taking pay cuts?
No, they're doing the Bobby Bonilla thing. We're going to pay you for the next 35 years.
Oh.
I would do that.
Which is honestly genius.
Yeah. Because
he makes 165.
He gets $1 million a year, right? Yeah. For the Mets.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
Yeah. Oh, looks like I got to get my $1 million.
And everyone knows his name. Like, I don't know him as a player.
Yeah.
But I know
God.
Like, I think I have one of his baseball cards.
I love that day every year where it's like the Mets are playing a dude $1 million to not play for them.
That's one of the most exciting days of the year where you can turn on ESPN and see the guy get $1 million.
That's my favorite thing about the Nolan Arenado trade. They traded Nolan Arenado and $50 million to the Cardinals.
And you know what the Cardinals are going to do? Pocket 48 million of it and then spend the other 2 on something.
And not re-sign Colton Wong.
Could you imagine that? Like you just trade people and you get cash back, and then as the front office, you just pocket it.
John Johnson is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
John Johnson.
I said that.
Thank you, Sean McVay, for letting us know your roster.
Yeah.
It's very nice of you.
Everett's another good tight end.
No, we actually have a Rams fan on here that can kind of inform us on what's going on. But I will say this, with Cooper Kupp, normally when guys tear their ACL, the other one's going to go in 3 years or less. Statistics says that. So, yes, there we go. There's our baseball guy. Dude, he has been on here since the first hour.
Jacob's got some competition.
Yeah. Jacob, we're sending out a free hoodie, and, well, yours, I think, got stuck in the mail.
And you've got competition, bud.
Well, they have to mail it. I can't leave the house. So.
Oh. Steve, what are rules?
I mean.
Just break them.
I still have to mail you your book.
Time's a flat circle, Steve. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You're already done.
Thanks a lot for that vote of confidence. If you just want the podcast, just ask me and I'll give it to you. Shit.
I don't.
You send me some McDonald's and I'll give it to you.
No. I really enjoy having Steve as the moderator of us. It's fun.
It's true.
Kind of. I keep freezing today, apparently, so I'm down.
Yeah. Well, you've got to, for all your views, when you get monetized, upgrade that internet.
I just have to restart it once a month, I think, because we stream so much for work.
Yeah.
And I forgot to do it.
That happens.
Especially this week, I'll have to Zoom all week again.
So then does the school pay for your data?
Nope.
Well, they should.
Ooh.
That was the big thing about working from home is if you make that decision where you do not pay for any of that.
Oh, so technically they left it up to you. It's your decision. That's such a cop-out.
Because the taxpayers' money pay for that building to stay open. So they have to be like, hey, you get a choice. The building is open to use our internet that taxpayers you pay for. Or you go home.
Stay home.
Well, I have no choice.
I don't know. Okay, we're done talking about Illinois basketball. We've devolved.
Yes.
Let's go, Steve.
Well, hold on. We have another Sean McVay thing.
Yeah, but Brady's got a totally different rehab structure to himself.
There's literally nothing better to do.
I'm glad we're the next best thing.
Comparing Tom Brady's ACL to anybody else in the NFL is totally different. Read TB12 and you'll understand why. He was doing full drills at 3 months after his surgery. But he knew that.
Sean McVay?
Say what?
Are you shit talking Sean McVay live on the podcast?
I'm just saying, like.
Also, are you using a shake weight?
No, it's this freaking thing that came off one of our. Oh, there we go. Off the lamp up there, and so I just sit here and, I'm getting jittery because the coffee's kicking in. We should be sponsored by Shake Weight, though, Steve. I don't know what you're doing with that. But.
Yeah, Steve, get on that.
And Shiva. When I get my mask, I'm going to wear it on the podcast. My Shiva.
What's the coffee? Is it Black Rifle
or Death Wish?
Yeah, let's just get that too.
Ooh.
You ever had Death Wish coffee?
Nope.
No,
I want to.
Make your heart explode.
I can't taste it, so I'll be fine.
It's a gag ball.
It's a gag ball? No.
Sean McVay's talking shit back.
Yeah, it's all right.
I like it, Sean. I like it.
Now, wait a minute. How do we get Sean McVay on, but we don't get Matt Nagy after all the shit talking? Like, come on.
Well, because Matt Nagy's an asshole.
Or
Sean McVay is actually a guy I'd like to talk to.
Or is Nagy like, no, they're right. That's true.
This is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Be you. That's all I'm gonna just be you.
Oh yeah.
Let's not. Can we not? We've moved on to better things.
Yeah. We're on to the Colts. Who the hell's the Chicago Bears?
That expensive team.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind throwing the Rams into that conversation because I really like Sean McVay as a coach.
I do too.
He's a hell of a dude.
And they're at least fun to watch.
Yes.
I
They
like
make
their offense.
3 wide single back with jet motion exciting. I mean,
But I think we had to pick one where we were able to find the game easier.
yeah. You have to get Sunday ticket to watch the Rams unless they're on prime time.
But anybody can watch Indy because they live to make everybody else happy. So
Yes. As a matter of fact, it's probably cheaper for us to just go to every game than it is for me to get NFL Sunday ticket.
ooh, what's this? How about the text from McVay's girlfriend from golf? What is going on here? I don't know anything.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, that could be interesting.
That
I love triangle brewing.
that's some real LeBron James.
That's what happens when you don't have an old coach.
Gotta have an old
True.
coach. Man.
True.
Gotta have an old coach.
You got a young coach with a hot girlfriend, and
No.
he's like the same age of most NFL veterans.
No, the best thing I've ever heard is like, this past year's draft, they kept like showing the inside of NFL head coaches' houses. They're like the biggest red flag in the world was they showed the inside of Cliff Kingsbury's house, and it was like some modern, like sexy bachelor pad. And they're like, he's gonna be fired in a year. Because
Or what about Mike Vrabel's?
well, no, but then they showed Bill Belichick's house, and it was like an old oak table in a room with no windows, and he had a dog sitting next to his single laptop.
But wasn't that his vacation home? I think he was at his vacation home for the draft. Belichick
In
was.
Nantucket.
Yeah.
But his vacation home is not the same as Cliff Kingsbury's regular home.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Suppose 18 text, he said he liked to. Oh my God.
Ain't nothing wrong with laying a little pipe.
I mean, yeah, that'll get you traded.
If you want to go to Detroit,
Maybe that's what Stafford needs to do. Or no, that's what Watson needs to do.
No, they've hired a bunch of old coaches.
How much do you want to get traded? Watch Deuce Bigelow a couple times. Fired.
I bet you like these fuzzy balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Let's move it. We gotta move here.
Move it or lose it.
don't tell me how to do shit.
Oh, now he's getting all sassy on us.
Steve. Steve's getting a little upset.
It's been a long day.
Buddy, it's noon.
I went to bed at 10:30 and slept straight to like 7:15. It was
Yeah, it's a good
glorious.
thing we didn't play zombies because that shit turns into like 3-hour affairs.
Well, I played around and got to about 16. I was like, that's enough.
Yeah, and more
by
people
myself.
than zombies.
It was the boss. When the boss shows up like at level 16 and you're by yourself, yeah, it's no fun.
You got to have that shotgun. All right, enough of this. Enough Call of Duty. What are you seeing that I'm not?
If you move the chat from private to comments,
Yeah, you can see them.
Oh!
some of these we just probably shouldn't put up, but they're pretty great.
Oh my God, I never even seen this.
Yeah, no, because like Jacob says some stuff that like doesn't always get put up.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Wow, these people really participate. I like this more.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, so here's the discussion because people from the outside aren't going to know. And I'm going to give a little
It
background.
started a fiery texting battle.
I'm going to give a little background for this. So Steve and I have been best friends for how long? It's been 15 years.
Longer than the kids meeting Coach West coach, older than that.
Yes.
Okay. In all that time, the amount of time Steve and I sat on my parents' couch and watched First Take and pointlessly argued LeBron Jordan, and then we argued about it. And there were times, remember, like we got heated about it, and Steve would just leave.
I just couldn't do it no more.
He's like, "I'm done. I can't listen to you anymore."
Wait, are we just going to abruptly end this?
It might happen. But
No, because we're not doing the Jordan, LeBron, Kobe debate. We're doing something different.
Well, I'm sure LeBron's going to get somehow thrown out in here because
I'm taking a deep breath.
Okay.
Telling
All right.
myself.
Thanks, honey. I'm not trying to have that happen. Because you don't understand. I've argued the Jordan side of it already this week.
So somehow this conversation got started across sports. Who's the best champion of all time? And I guess the conversation can go outside of basketball and football.
Yeah, but I don't think it would I don't think it would be Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. I think you need to level it down to American sports because there's some soccer dudes that.
Yeah. But even on American sports, I think Wayne Gretzky's up there.
Yeah.
Championship-wise, you have to say something about Russell in basketball. It was a different time period.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the worst person to discuss this with. But go on.
Oh, I know. I'm saying all this because I know the buttons for Steve.
So you have your agitator to make you not think correctly, and then
You're just beating me while I'm down. I'm sitting here tired, and you're just gonna beat.
We're gonna put Steve in the ICU today.
Wow.
Dang. So we're not going to personally go after each other, Steve. We're going to get you with your health and your energy levels.
This is a new low. This is a new low.
Yeah. No, I mean, I played dirty. I'm man enough to admit that.
Well, I mean, apparently I have a gag ball, but I like to do things more deeper than the gag ball.
I already talked to Christina, and she's slowly sucking the oxygen out of that room right now.
She's actually got the car running outside, and there's a hose under your door.
So you're telling me this wasn't even COVID? This is just...
No, we've been poisoning
you. Slowly. Kind of like what Russians do with people.
You know what, though? If I was scared to hear the truth, I'd kill me, too.
Okay.
Oh.
Here we go.
Space Jam 2 sucks. Anyway.
Steve's got a free screening that he canceled on.
If we're being honest, Space Jam 1 sucked.
Don't you fucking say it.
Space Jam was...
There we go.
Some people don't want to hear the truth, Steve.
Oh God, you guys.
Space Jam because he had gambling debt.
All right, keep setting it up because I'm gonna let my dogs out of the room because my wife's probably gonna wake up here in a second. But yeah, keep talking, keep setting it up, Brad.
Paint the picture.
So we're looking at if you compare Tom Brady.
Yep.
Blasphemous that
Space Jam is.
It's not a good movie. But anyway, okay.
Continue on. You haven't set anything up. You're the table setter.
If we're looking at who's the better champion, and by champion, that leads into are you the greatest male athlete of all time? Okay. We're looking at Tom Brady versus Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had one of the best runs of any basketball player ever, is pretty much the undisputed GOAT in the NBA. I don't think anyone will ever take that away from him. And in football, the table setter was always Joe Montana, and you're not going to pass Montana. for what he was. Tom Brady has now done that, and he's going for number 7 in year 21, right? Or 20, 21. Okay, one way or another.
Yeah.
Longevity alone is impressive. He is now done. I'm not going to get into it anymore. Nathan, I'm going to moderate this because I need to stay out. I'll start pushing Steve's buttons.
So what you're worried about and what Steve's worried about is only what you guys know, because I really don't know.
No, you're new to this, and I'm interested to see how Steve reacts versus how Steve reacts when we have this conversation.
Because you guys have had the couch conversations you've already built up.
Well, this is interesting, though, because I think this is the first time I've had to get in a debate of Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. I've only done
It's interesting because it's a cross sports.
And there is no right answer with this either.
Well, that's why I'm the worst person, because if we had the LeBron, Michael, Kobe debate, I'm the worst person because I go deep. I go down deep in that rabbit hole.
Steve likes it deep.
Real deep. Like, no return deep.
And if we're being honest, Tiger, yes. Tiger is on that list. But for today, it's Brady Jordan. Who's more impressive? And by more impressive, you then become the GOAT. Nathan, I will let you. I would like to formally let you bring your opening argument.
Tom Brady has done. Well, let's see here. I don't even know. I was going to let Steve go first.
Okay. Well, Steve, would you like to go first, or would you like to have Nathan?
Well, what am I supposed to say? Do I think Tom Brady is the GOAT of sports?
Make your case for why Michael Jordan is a better champion than Tom Brady.
Because Michael Jordan is a better athlete. Yes, Tom Brady had to take care of his body, but the miles that Michael Jordan has put on his body and done what he's done is more impressive. You play like 90 or so games a season. All the jumping you're putting on your joints, and able to walk away from the game for a year and a half and then come back and play at a high level is more impressive. And in football, you need a lot of things to go right. Michael can take over the game whenever he wanted to. In order for Tom Brady to take over a game, he has to have those guys make catches. So that's why this championship run is only done because he has a good team around him. Michael, basketball is a little different. That's why this is hard to discuss it. And this is just my short answer. In basketball, it's a lot easier to have one person or two people take over. In football, you need a lot to go right. So now, is Tom Brady the GOAT of football? I think so. But that's where I kind of go with it. That's my short answer. I want to hear what Nathan says after that, if I elaborate more.
First off, Michael Jordan only played till what? He was 38? Because Tom Brady's got him by what, 6 years? So being in a sport that's basically like being in a car accident on every play, and then to play that for longer, there's plenty of people that run miles and break down. And you look at any marathon runner, they don't last very long. Now, I have no problem saying that Michael Jordan is the better athlete, but as far as taking care of your body and everything, Tom Brady is elite. He has his own guy. Whereas Michael Jordan smoked and drank and gambled, Tom Brady was busy after the game. I mean, he literally had a TB12 studio next to the stadium at Gillette Stadium. And then after the game, he would go and take care of his body. That's what he did. So as far as longevity, Tom Brady has him tenfold. And then as far as ability, Tom Brady has a business of making average or sub-average receivers really good. And then they leave him and they get paid and then they come back because they were nothing. So when you look at some of Tom Brady's best work has actually been when he doesn't have the best teams. And so as good as Michael Jordan was, to go almost undefeated in the NFL is really impressive. You have 53 people on a roster. So as Jordan can take away the team's best player, Tom Brady can't. So he has to depend on his ability a lot more. And if you look at their defensive rosters, it wasn't like that where they were that great defensively. It was a system. The only thing you can say is Tom Brady on his teams in the past, he's only had an elite cornerback consistently. He's had maybe one defensive lineman, but for the most part, he has one good defensive back.
But doesn't that actually hurt the debate because Michael can play defense and turn around and go back and play offense and turn around and go back and guard?
No, because he had more of a direct impact on the game.
But that's why this is a hard debate because it's two different sports. And doesn't that say something where Michael can perform at that level by drinking and smoking? Could you imagine if they had that technology back in the 80s and 90s, what Tom Brady has now?
I mean,
and Michael got bored. Michael won too much. He got bored.
He didn't get bored. He got old. Look at what he did with the Wizards.
One time when he walked away,
82 games.
When he walked away to go play baseball, he just got bored.
And he had gambling debt, but we won't talk about that.
I mean,
that's the whole Pete Rose thing.
I would go read the book. It's actually really good about Michael Jordan's life. There's so much I can't reiterate. It's a 7-page book, but there's so much I can't even remember, or like I would have to sit here for 2 hours and tell you. But
well, yeah, I mean, TV went like 300 pages long too.
Yeah, the stuff Michael went through just adds on to why I think he's the greatest. Like there's stuff I didn't even know that they had to go through. Like his dad sexually assaulted his sister, like stuff like that he had to deal with that I didn't even know.
Well, I hate to say this, but Michael had Scottie Pippen, which I think Scottie Pippen was the only person in the NBA that could stop Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan always had a consistent group of people to work with. When Tom Brady had a receiver go off for a season, he got signed away. The only time that didn't happen was when he had Randy Moss, and then Randy Moss retired after that. And that was the 3 years that he set records. But he is every sub-average running back he's ever had, he's made really good and a pass catcher. His main receivers, when you look at it, he's probably the quarterback with the most 1,000-yard receiving years to like a tight end that's actually been successful. If you look at it, he had Randy Moss and he had Randy Moss and he had Rob Gronkowski, and then Deion Branch barely made the cut in 1,000-yard seasons. I guess he had Wes Welker at one point, but then Wes Welker's head became Swiss cheese and he went to the Denver Broncos. But you look at like Danny Amendola, great with the Patriots, terrible everywhere else. Wes Welker, shadow of himself. Every undersized, average slot receiver has been successful under Tom Brady. Look at what he's doing with Scotty Miller. Every person that he's had, like his main go-to guy is a guy that doesn't thrive on any other team in the league. Look at what Julian Edelman did this year. Nothing.
In this conversation, is there something to be said for likability of your teammates? Like if your teammates like you, are they going to play harder for you? And to me, that is a plus for Brady.
But I think at the same time, and I will say this for Jordan, I think Jordan and Brady are very much the same in their competitiveness and expecting people to perform. I think they're basically the same dude. I mean, Tom Brady's having a little bit more fun now that he's out of New England. But when you look at him and how he challenges people, it was the same way Jordan did it. So I think that's kind of a push, in my opinion. But those Bulls teams, they did just fine without Jordan. Now, they made the playoffs. They didn't win. But they still won 55 games. What did the Patriots do this year?
Steve.
What?
Well, they didn't make the playoffs.
Wait, what was said?
He's trying so hard to not get mad.
No, I'm trying to read comments. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to not go grab the book and start reading and have story time.
Yeah, but I don't care about Michael's off the field history. Like that doesn't.
I mean, I don't go with the Scottie Pippen thing because Michael Jordan had to make Scottie Pippen. I never go with that because Scottie did not show up and was Scottie. Don't you start because people say
Scottie
something about
Pippen almost averaged a double-double without Michael.
No, I'm talking about when he got to the league. People think Scottie Pippen shows up and this happens. Michael Jordan, and Scottie admits this, he had to learn how to play. Michael had to create Scottie Pippen.
The FCC called this podcast has gone long enough.
That's it. Rhonda's pissed.
Rhonda, I'm sick.
That's fine, but I just named about 4 average receivers that went off, and one was actually Super Bowl MVP in Deion Branch, went to the Seahawks, disappeared off the face of the earth, and then came back to the Patriots, and did just fine all over again.
But is that system? Is that your coaching? Is that
really? It's not a system because he played in 2 systems.
What happened when they left? When Michael and them were done with the Bulls and they all left? What happened? What did those players do?
Well, why wouldn't Michael play under any other coach? Because if Phil would have retired early, he would have retired. And Phil Jackson, he's already shown even with the Lakers that he can win. So Tom Brady, being the person that he was, got out of New England and said, hey, watch this. Watch New England fold. And then Phil went on. I mean, he's probably got toe championship rings.
Is that the fact that Phil had to be his coach consistently through all of that? And I think we can make the argument that Bruce Arians is not Bill Belichick.
No, almost the hyper opposite. He's right. He's a
looser guy, but I'm talking about just skill set as a coach.
Yeah.
They're not comparable.
No.
And you can say Jordan was loyal to Phil to a fault, maybe. But is it a ding on Jordan because he only did it with one guy who happens to be a Hall of Fame coach?
No, because Phil wasn't this championship coach that walked in. They had to do it together.
But then he did it after him.
But I'm talking about
look what happened to Bill. It's relatively same coaching staff in New England. McDaniels is still there calling the offense. Belichick's still there overseeing the defense. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay and not only watches New England not get to the playoffs, but I mean, they are for the first time in forever picking in the middle of the draft.
But is this a ding? But is this more of a ding on Brady because he went to a team with great receivers, great offensive line, an offensive mind coach, and a great fast defense? Because that's why he won against Green Bay, throws 3 interceptions in the second half, and the defense helped him out.
Because he didn't have to perform great. How many times has Tom Brady walked on the field and you just knew that he was going to get the ball in the scoring position? In a sport where so you can have 3 good players in the NBA and win a championship. I'm going to tell you right now, Tom Brady, the years that they were successful, they had quite a few, like in the middle when the offense was really like booming. But he never had more than 2 NFL All-Pros on his team. As a matter of fact, his last championship, they had 1 All-Pro in Dante Hightower and only 2 Pro Bowlers on the entire team. Not the league's leading rebounder, the best defensive player in Michael Jordan, and then the second best in Scottie Pippen. So talent-wise, And it wasn't Dante Hightower, it was Stephen Gilmore, which is really weird. You don't realize how many good corners Tom Brady had on his team.
Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, there for a small stint. But he's never had, in his championship seasons, never had more than like 3 Pro Bowlers and 1 All-Pro. Ever.
So I think what we can all agree is that Michael Jordan's probably the 4th best champion of all time. It goes Tom Brady.
If Tom Brady wins, I don't even think it's a discussion. So if he is able to beat Mahomes, because Mahomes, in my opinion, will unseat Tom Brady. Mahomes has the talent. He has the coach. He's got that swag. He just does. And I think that Tom Brady beating him says something because I think that highly of Mahomes.
Yeah. I think
because if you're talking talent, arm talent-wise, leg talent-wise, just talent, Mahomes hasn't beat. I don't want to – nobody can beat Mahomes in a throw-off other than maybe Josh Allen with the long ball.
And objectively, Kansas City's a better football team.
Yes.
From top to bottom.
Yeah, because where has Arians ever had really winning? I mean, he's been a good coach, but has he ever been to a Super Bowl? I don't know if he has.
He's an offensive coordinator for the Steelers.
Okay.
But I would say it probably goes Brady, LeBron.
Can we just put on the record that I was not the one to bring up LaFlop, LaBrick, the loser? Fuck
yeah, but don't go off on this tangent here.
LeBron so that's clean Jordan's $1 million shoes. And if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, Kobe and LeBron wouldn't make the money that they have.
Yeah, so this is Bruce Arians' first Super Bowl that he's been in.
As a head
coach. He's won, kind of. And he's got a 60% winning percentage. But he's taken him to his first Super Bowl. And as talented as Mike Evans is, sometimes you hit him in the hands and he drops it, or bats it up in the air and it causes an interception. The only consistency Tom Brady's really had in his career is Rob Gronkowski. And how many elite quarterbacks can say that their main target was their tight end?
He can't. Steve's over it.
I was getting an email about a sponsorship, so I had to look at it.
Yes.
Oh.
I wasn't listening to one word of that. I don't listen. Once you say LeBron, I have to walk away from it because
anybody say LeBron.
You blame Brad, who was supposed to facilitate this, and this is why I host it, because I don't say LeBron.
Because you were being quiet, and I had to get you fired up for a second.
My mind is also in a million spots right now.
Trying to clear out some of that COVID funk.
Yeah, the COVID fog.
Yeah.
It's a real thing because I can't – you guys say something that doesn't register for about 45 seconds.
Okay, so what elite NFL quarterback's main target in his entire career was a tight end? Since that guy was drafted.
You know my answer to that? I really don't care. I could care less about who the tight end was.
No, I'm saying what quarterback – I mean, every quarterback has a good wide receiver. Unfortunately for Tom Brady, it wasn't an elite receiver. Other than the 3 years he had Randy Moss. And in one of those years, Randy Moss was elite, and then he got old.
He got old fast.
He got old real fast.
Yeah.
He went from 19 touchdowns in a year to 8 and 7.
But me personally, this is hard to do because I have to look at all 11 on offense or the other 10 on offense. Look at the 11 on defense. And I hate the thing of, Tom Brady beat Mahomes. No, he didn't. He's on offense. They don't play each other. They don't see each other on the same field. That's why I hate this topic. That's why I love the basketball ones, because I sit there and say, Michael Jordan went and guarded so-and-so, and that makes him better because he's able to flip out his dick and say, like, I'm going to guard him. I'm going to drive on the hole and dunk on him.
But
You know?
so you look at what was Tampa Bay before Tom Brady got there?
But look at all the pieces they added.
What was the New England Patriots after Tom Brady left?
I'm not saying Tom Brady's not good. I'm not saying that. Yeah, he's probably the GOAT of the NFL. I will sit there and agree that 100%. I could sit here and say, if you want to take the two GOATs, we can say Jordan and Tom Brady. Those are the two GOATs. And I'm fine with it. And I don't know if I can sit here and put one directly over the other because they're so different and so many things have to go right and so many things have to fall into place and so many people have to show up and play. And that's where Tom Brady and Michael Jordan do that. Tom Brady gets those receivers to play well. Tom Brady gets those guys to play. Michael Jordan got those guys to play. So I think we could sit here and say they're both the GOATs.
Tom Brady had a bunch of average people other than Rob Gronkowski and Randy Moss in 21 years. Julian Edelman's average without him, if not sub-average. He has nobody get him the ball. Amendola fell off the face of the earth. Let's see, who else? You ever heard of Rashay Caldwell? Yeah, he went 12-4 with him. A bum Corey Dillon from the Cincinnati Bengals led the league with 1,700 yards rushing. David Patton, never heard of him. How did Kevin Falk do on all of his different teams that he signed after he left Tom Brady? Terrible. Tom Brady's first Super Bowl year, running back, Antoine Smith. Have no clue who that is. Antoine is actually how it's spelled. You say Michael Jordan, I can name his starting five. But other than Deion Branch, I couldn't name you maybe some of those old linebackers on their defense. Tom Brady made the offense go.
And we've seen what a team with an elite defense and subpar offense looks like as recovering Bears fans.
Yeah, because we have had an elite defense. And even with Rex Grossman, we had an elite defense. And then we had high and low Rex Grossman, who basically effed it up. Tom Brady never had a defense that could win him a game. He had to go win the game. They could just hold on and play solid defense.
This was the wrong time to do this. Steve just doesn't have the fire. He doesn't have the fire to do it.
I really don't have the fire or the care right now.
Then why did we do it?
Because the longer this has gone on, the more I'm getting tired.
Okay.
Every other time.
Like, it's so bad right now. Can I just tell you, I can't remember the kicker that was with Tom Brady for years.
Vinatieri.
Yeah, see, I have been here. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. No,
that's what I was going to say. If I wasn't this way, I would have said Vinatieri won him those championships.
Yeah, because Vinatieri passed the ball down the field with under 2 minutes left and got him in scoring position.
But I can make the argument that defense has helped Tom Brady win too, which makes the debate different because Michael has to go play the defense as well as play offense. So as an athlete, I think it's Michael. And that's why my mind's all over the place, so I apologize. It's really mush. I'm trying not to make excuses, but my mind goes here, and then it comes right back. Nathan's another going, this is stupid. Steve's mind is mush, and it's going this way, and he's coming back.
Tom Brady has also never gotten a coach fired.
Who did Michael get fired?
Who did he have before Phil?
Collins.
They never got fired over Michael. They got fired because fat short fuck was the GM and didn't like him.
I didn't like that guy. That's something we can't agree on. I did not like that
Krause, guy. He's the reason why, because when they fired coaches, Michael actually gets mad about it. Like, we need to win. We need sustainability.
Which Michael had for the later part of his career. I think Brady had a leg up because he came into a very stable situation in New England.
Yeah, I mean, they had Drew Bledsoe. They did okay. They won a couple seasons, but I mean, Drew Bledsoe had the team actually went 5-11 before they drafted Tom Brady.
But Michael showed up to the cocaine train. of the Bulls.
It's true. Yeah, Michael took the Bulls pretty much from being a laughingstock to respectable in what, 2 years?
When
Basically.
they played in Peoria.
Yeah, like if I remember that right, he basically made them relevant.
Well, his second year, he broke his leg.
Yeah.
So
When
here's
he-
the Patriots so they had Drew Bledsoe. So they were 2-14, 5-11, 10-6, 6-10, 11-5, 10-6, 9-7, 8-8, 5-11. Then Tom Brady takes over after Bledsoe gets hurt. So you can't say that they were like this knockdown. They were like the Bears. They make the playoffs one year, you think it's good, or even 2 years, 2 out of 3. I wouldn't say that's elite because I'm watching the Chicago Bears and we're so far from elite. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They weren't elite. They just have had a sniff of winning, and the Bulls just sniff cocaine.
Well, that's not good.
I mean,
but drugs aside, I mean, LeGarrette Blount for the Patriots, 18 rushing touchdowns, goes to the Eagles, gets cut, comes back to the New England Patriots, and nobody wanted to touch him with a 10-foot pole because, he knocked out the Boise State guy, which was pretty impressive.
I don't know. It's hard to have this debate for 2 reasons. 1, I'm not in the mood. 2, it's just 2 different sports.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tom Brady kept a convicted murderer in check on his team. So you can say cocaine, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers was like the kingpin.
I think
Aaron Hernandez, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
I think that we can all agree that I want a 30 for 30 on the Florida teams.
Yes.
With Aaron Hernandez, the Pouncey brothers.
Because one of the Pouncey's retired now.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, the one from the Steelers. Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. So they're getting close to that retirement age where we get to see it.
Yeah, because really, who's left?
Spikes.
The only ones left?
Spikes is still on the Patriots.
Is he really?
Yeah, he opted out this year due to COVID.
Brandon Spikes. That dirty turd. And he was an eye gouger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the racist Cooper is not in the league. I don't remember.
No, he kind of did that to himself.
The other Pouncey brother's still playing, I think.
Who did he play for? He was with the Chargers forever.
He was with the Dolphins.
Oh.
One of them was with the Dolphins. One of the Pouncey guys.
The other one was with the Patriots.
Do you ever think they just
Steelers
trade locker rooms?
Huh?
Do you ever think they just trade locker rooms? Like Markeith and Marcus Morris?
Yeah.
They did that during a game at Kansas one time. They switched uniforms because one of them fouled out.
You're only the person that your jersey says you are.
Exactly. Why not? Well, Steve, are you ready to call it a day so you can go take a nap?
I could just go get an energy drink and get a second win going.
You don't want to do that, man.
Don't do that with the COVID thing.
Yeah, you gotta let your body rest.
That's a fake energy.
Yeah.
Hey, I drank one yesterday and I did just fine.
Really?
It doesn't wake your body up. It just makes my eyes open. My body's like, fuck off. But my eyes are like,
yeah.
No, it's just so sad. Like, I could vacuum the floor and I'll be like, oh, I got to sit down.
That's why you get a Roomba.
We have all carpet. Will it work with that?
Yeah.
Oh.
We got all carpet.
Nathan's so bougie, he's got 2 Roombas.
Well, the house is big.
I wasn't invited, so I don't know.
No.
Well, I mean, you had COVID, so.
Yeah.
And I could get it for the 3rd time and be the one test subject like E.T. They wheel me out of my house.
Honestly, he showed me a lot of stuff in that house. My only takeaway is that it's big enough they need 2 Roombas.
So you've made it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
My wife's made it. I married a good one.
Oh, he's
I'm just a teacher.
he's like the house husband.
Yeah. She just needs to get promoted. I can be a stay-at-home dad.
Kept man.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
I think really that's the dream, right?
Yeah. That's why I bought the first Roomba, was because I was tired of vacuuming. We had a really nice Dyson vacuum, and I said, piss on this. Get
So
in the
how did this is way off subject. We're not talking about sports anymore, but how did you train your dogs not to attack the Roomba?
They're scared. I don't know. They just work around it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The shutdown defense guy is still here. This is awesome. No, I'll tell you what's nice is she respects my coaching stuff. Sometimes it drives her a little bit crazy, but she's an amazing person. And she goes and works at PTI and stuff. So she knows what it's like to like teach people and help them in their career. So me, it's like she understands that a little bit. So it's nice. But yeah, definitely got an upgrade over the Fithian house for sure. But then the St. Joe house was a Cracker Jack box.
You remember when somebody got stuck in your bathroom? That Fithian house?
Was it?
We're not going to talk about it.
Goddamn door handle. We had to take the door handle off. I was like, whatever you do, don't kick the door down.
And I wasn't sure what I was doing, so I just went and grabbed a butter knife. I'm pretty sure there was a screwdriver on the table.
This day just got worse. I have to agree with Shannon Sharp on something.
What just happened?
He says he trusts Michael Jordan to win the game more than Tom Brady. I have to agree with Shannon Sharp on something. Damn it.
I don't know about that.
And we all know how much I don't like Shannon Sharp, and I have to agree with him. I think Shannon Sharp's a loon.
Yeah, he is nuttier than a fruitcake. But
oh, this is dedication right here.
Yeah.
Jacob, step it up.
He's not even here. He's not even here.
Jacob,
He wanted to talk about WandaVision.
He's doing.
I love the fact that as like Steve, when we started doing this is just like talking sports thing. Did you ever think anyone would listen?
Only Coach West, because he told me he would.
I told you I would.
Yeah.
And then we hired him.
For free.
For free, yeah.
With no socks.
I don't know. I don't know if many other quarterbacks I'd want with the ball in their hands. Because Tom Brady takes it with the swag that nobody has. I mean, he takes the field, and there's 10 other guys that can screw it up, right? Oh, there's a false start. Fuck me.
If we're being honest. Like, he had Wes Welker drop a ball in a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He had one of his other just plain white dudes dropped a ball.
Not tonight. Can't even say his name because he didn't exist.
It was fourth down. I was making fun of Tom Brady. It was fourth down, right?
Oh, that's a rough look.
Yeah.
That's a rough look for Brady. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to root for Tom Brady until you two opened up the can of worms. And I was like, well, God dang it,
for him. You can't get that negative. I hope Tom gets one just so he can retire a winner, because I don't know if they'll be back the next year, kind of thing. It is kind of cool for him to be the first NFL team to host a Super Bowl.
I don't want him to win now, because then I have to look at Brad's text messages come in immediately after, and I'm not looking.
Yeah.
You'll be feeling better by then, though.
Yeah.
My quarantine will be up the next day.
Just drink a few Busch lattes. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Busch lattes and wings. Maybe that'll help.
There you go, buddy. I'll even order them for you after he wins it. And they'll spell goat.
No, I'm going to walk away from this and say the two goats of sports are Michael Jordan and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think we
And,
can.
and I had no argument with that. It was just between the two. And if Tom Brady gets this, honestly, the coach thing to me, because everybody always said, oh, Bill Belichick, this and that. Arians has been kind of successful, but he's never really won anything. He normally loses before he even gets there. Like, this is his first Super Bowl.
Like, the time he was supposed to go was with Palmer and the Cardinals.
Yes. And they didn't. Yeah. And I can't remember if Palmer got hurt. But
he did the first time they were supposed to go, and then the second year, they just shit the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah, they lost to the Carolina Panthers in the NFC Championship game, and the year before lost in the wild card game. But this is only his third Super Bowl appearance as a coach.
Yeah, because he won one
third playoff appearance. Sorry, first appearance.
He won 2 with the Steelers as the OC, I think.
Okay, but as a head coach, I mean,
right? No,
you wonder what Matt Nagy really did in Andy Reid's offense.
Oh. Man, if you really want to open a can of worms, you just see that text.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about helmets being verified?
I don't have the strength for that.
Steve's going to have to take a shot of espresso.
Whatever they give Joe Biden, can they just ship that to me?
That's adrenochrome.
Yeah, just send that to me.
I'm just kidding.
Nathan, since you've brought that up, I haven't quit thinking about it. The helmets thing.
Yeah, no, that's it's interesting. My thing is, it's great to have it, and I'm excited for the kids, those that are eligible, because first semester was very interesting. Because while everybody was like, "Oh, it's just sports," no, it's quite a bit, and I'm just excited to have sports back in general. I don't think as a coach, and knowing that there's coaches that are going to, and this is, Steve, I don't want to get you in hot water, so I'm not going to say it, but there are people that are going to drive people into the ground in their certain sports because you have no control over it. But they're going to coach like there's no tomorrow. And I think that there's going to be a string of injuries from kids being off 8 months, and then every coach coaching like they're playing for a state championship. And that worries me. Like, that's a genuine concern. And then with football, I'm really excited. Actually, Bismarck's playing Maroa week 1.
Ooh.
This year. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Then we play Bismarck the next week, so I'll get to see that on film. So I'm pretty excited about that.
We can't play yet, so it doesn't matter.
You'll be able to play by the time it gets around. You'll be all right. But I think the biggest thing, and I've brought this up because, well, I'm the only person that I hear talking about this, is the helmet reconditioning, which technically the helmets are only certified for the year 2020. So unless they're going to allow some sort of something for the next year, because even if a helmet isn't worn, you have to send it in every year to get certified. So we're in a new year. So are we just waiving the helmet safety thing for a season?
And how many parents are not going to piss off?
And then the next thing is okay, we end at the end of April. And most coaches like to practice in at least like helmets over the summer and 7-on-7 leagues and stuff. And for us small schools, now I don't know, a big school might not have this issue. They might have plenty of equipment, maybe. But for a small school, we might not have our helmets by the start date when football actually matters. Because it matters now, but we're not playing for a state title. And then I feel bad with the uptick in lower extremity injuries that I could see happening because kids are going from nothing to just hell-bent for election. If a kid gets hurt and it's serious enough to where they need surgery, they've now lost, if they're an underclassman, they've lost a season. That actually they could play for a state title. And that's just, I'm putting this out there not to be negative, but because I want people to be, if whoever listens to this, be mindful of your kids' bodies and realize that if they're an underclassman, this is going to be a lot for them. Yeah, see? And every person I talk to, they never think of the helmets. So, and then if you get your shoulder pads reconned, that's another thing. Because, with staff and stuff, and if you play on a turf field, you've got all those germs that kind of hang out. So I am really excited, and I'm glad to be able to coach football, even though I'm a 3-sport coach. So basketball, football, and I don't like the IHSA overlap thing. I wish they would have had a day where it ended because, you're putting kids in conflict, and there are schools that where coaches don't get along, and they're not going to work together, and they're going to put the kids in conflict. Because let's be honest, we have all of these rules because somebody's broke the rule, right? Like, Steve, you look at our acclimatization thing, like somebody screwed that up, so we have to do the acclimatization thing.
Yep.
Okay, so there are going to be coaches out there. No, you do have to turn those in every year, whether you wore them or not. And so if you look on the back of the helmet, it will say there's like a little sticker that goes on the back of the helmet, and it will say certified for 2020.
And if the ref sees that, he'll immediately pull it out, and then lawsuits can happen.
That's their job. And then if you're a school, say you have some older helmets that get cracked, it's also going to be interesting to see how much helmet availability there is out there. And you're going to have companies, because the same places that recon are the same places that paint. And so if you need new helmets, they might get put on the back burner because of recon, but now you're out helmets that have gotten kicked out. So
there very well could be some plain white helmets.
Yeah. It's just going to be interesting. And like I said, I'm so happy. I mean, my girls were thrilled at basketball when we got to start up basketball practice. And I said, guess what? We're going to have games. I mean, it gave me goosebumps getting to talk about this because my last talk I had with athletes was, hey, this is the end of the season. Obviously, I've talked to them all over the place before, but well, and so that is nice. That's not every school, though.
Nope.
And so that's a proactive athletic director. And then there's some people who are athletic directors because they're fired coaches. And so, like, I hate to sound terrible. Like, this is total negative take, and I'm so happy about it. Like, as far as, the sport's happening. But there's just questions that I look at logistically that's just kind of player safety is my number one thing. And so that's where my head resorts to. I think immediately of injuries and all that good stuff. I've already been trying to, and the way I've brought along our girls in basketball is such to try and basically build their body up to the tolerance of playing a game, and then 2, keeping them injury free, which RPR helps out with that. Brad got to experience some crazy stuff. One crazy thing, because he stayed till 1:30 the other night. And I was like, oh, by the way, RPR, let me show you this real quick. And then he about crapped his pants.
No, I think if you're a coach right now, there's obviously a lot of egos that go in with sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be a time where you absolutely need to check your ego and sacrifice what you think is going to determine wins for the betterment of the student athlete. Because
and there is a way that you can still be successful and keep kids safe, but it's just you can't try and cram 9 weeks into 5. And
a lot of these kids have not been physically active in a while.
And you have some people who are like, well, that's their fault. Well, it might be their fault, but guess what? It's on your shoulders if they get hurt in your sport. And I wouldn't want that on my conscience. I wouldn't want a senior who plays 3 sports to get hurt in my sport. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then a multiplier? Yeah, that would suck. Oh, God, you get bumped up. I mean, you lose one guy in this football season for something serious and like an ACL, a long-term, long recovery injury, and you're going to be in trouble. So it's smart to be smart in the preseason. I don't even call it conditioning anymore, but performance, I don't know. I call it speed and power. I don't call it conditioning, but that's just me. Yeah.
Steve,
So
do you have thoughts on starting sports?
Wait, what?
Do you have thoughts on starting your sports up?
I can't record some of the things I would like to say about it, but no, it's good, but I just think we could have done baseball and track back in the fall to help out.
yeah.
Because even back then they were low risk, but it's hard to turn this into a negative because they get to play.
Yeah.
But I'm going to reiterate, we're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Now, like for us, we're not in phase 4 yet, so we can't play. We can practice, we can't play.
Right.
And then I don't think we talked to some coaches. We're worried about burnout already, and we haven't even started.
Yep.
Coaches burned out because you coach 3 sports. I'm going to try to coach 3 sports. Like, you're burnout for us. And I said, well, I'm not worried about me. I'll get over it. The kid's getting burned out. And then what are coaches going to sneak kids in for these 2 practices? You know what I mean? Like, they're not supposed to go from basketball practice, then go to football practice that same day. We've already talked to coaches. They're not going to allow it. They're like, no, did you just come from basketball? Nope. Can't be here because you're going to get hurt.
That's what you hope happens, but there are going to be other coaches that will allow it.
Right. Well, like, I'm very fortunate. I'll just say this straight up. The coaches I work for already said that. They're like, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah. And in our school, it's good for me that we have a divide in our sports as well. Where's Region 4 at? They divide this thing up into regions. Why can't they just say like Metro East, Chicago, and then the rest of us?
Well, they did Chicago. We're the West.
So what region is Region 4? Is that up north?
I don't know. We're Region 8. We're DuPage and Kane County, so Naperville and Aurora. And
I'm looking it up.
I don't know. Big Boy has confused this for me.
And it's weird because they're not exactly in order, like top to bottom.
No, they're not.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure Southern Illinois, where I'm at, is Region 5.
Metro East is Region 4.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So they've got some.
Oh, Edwardsville. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got to Tier 1 last week.
So I'm really excited. I hope the coaches are cautious.
And I'm a little depressed because we had 2 days of basketball tryouts and I couldn't be there. So I'm a little like, oh.
Yeah, you've got a different look at it too from that perspective. It's like standing outside the window of a store that you know you can't afford anything in.
That's how I felt in New York, walking the streets of New York. It was like, no, can't walk in there. I can't even walk in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, don't take me down that road. I'll start going.
Well,
I mean, considering we're like, I'm now, Steve, you're a little bit further away now, but we're literally like 10 minutes from Indiana state line.
Mm-hmm.
And there was coaches from here that were on the east side of the state that were just going to Indiana to coach.
Yep.
And then they had the Illinois basketball conference, which was every Illinois school, small school, playing in Terre Haute, Indiana.
In Iowa.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it was done by people in good faith, but at the same time, they don't know how to practice kids. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't practice with their real coaches. Not saying real coaches are better or their high school coaches are better, but, if you got a parent that doesn't really know, but just kind of doing it in good faith, and then somebody gets hurt.
Brad's going to get shot.
I don't know what it is about the women in my life. Just hate this podcast.
Tell Rhonda I'm sick, and this is why we're doing it.
Oh, she knows. That's why she's complaining. She's like,
I'll just go drink a bang.
Take your Flintstone vitamins.
Yeah. The one I took when I was 5 is about to kick in.
But
no, I told the head football coach we're gonna redefine the term stupid simple this year. We're not. It's going to be so stupid simple, and just get weird. If there's a play you want to use in football, just do it.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you're like, this is spring football. This is spring.
That's what I said for our coach. Well, I hope that we play as close to 22 guys as we can on offense and defense. Because at a small school, you got a lot of guys that play both ways. But the experience that they get in this non-championship season is, because you're not playing for a championship, that will pay off next year. Big time.
For sure. Big time. This is spring football for Illinois.
Yeah. Yep. So be smart, but get weird. Have fun with it. Because that's ultimately what it's about, And
if somebody masters the no huddle triple option, let me know, because that's sexy if someone can master it.
Yes.
Well, social distancing, you have to do no huddle.
That's true. That's the thing with the no huddle. It's like, I don't have to worry about this.
And Brad, I don't know if Brad knows, football players have to wear masks. So you're going to have a helmet on, masks, and then the question they had, at least for our athletic director, hey, IHSA, so they're going to wear a helmet, mask, and a mouthpiece? And they say, we'll come back with an answer later.
Hell, I just thought from the perspective of, you got to put a chin strap on. How does that mask affect the chin strap?
It's great stuff when they don't have it.
Because that would be how the helmet fits.
Because in the IHSA, don't you have to have your mouth guard attached to your face mask?
Nope.
No.
See, we did.
Well, Coach Stenhouse told you that's the way it was.
Oh, I didn't know that was not a rule.
No, you can have, as long as you have to have it on while the play happens. So if a quarterback keeps it out here and the play happens, they can throw a flag.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't have to have it attached.
No JV games? Oof.
Yeah,
they're still talking about us having JV games, but
I know basketball for us, there's no JV games, no sophomore B games, and no freshman B games. It's only going to be varsity, sophomore. Sophomores will play before the varsity game. And then freshmen have their own thing, I think.
Wow.
Football, we don't know yet because they're too worried about basketball and other sports right now. Yeah. But I coach at 2 different high schools, so I'm talking about the DVC with Nequa. Then I got to talk about the Suburban West with Addison.
Steve, I don't envy that position. Dude, that's got to be.
But they don't play each other. The school I coach football and never sees, because Nequa's 3,800 kids, Addison's like 1,800. So there's no.
Yeah, that's nice, but.
And the DVC is like top dog. You have DeKalb, Nequa, and all this and that. Like, it's just bloodbath. And East St. Louis is going to go play IMG Academy this year.
But that's the start next season.
Yeah, in the fall.
Yeah. Which will be fun.
Are they playing at IMG Academy?
Sure are.
You want to take a road trip?
We'll be coaching.
Oh. Whatever. This
you
is
can go and film
Saturdays.
I've already been to IMG Academy, Brad. Stayed there for 5 days. It was unbelievable. To be able to walk around on campus at the USATF thing, like our key card got us into a lot of buildings. I mean,
shouldn't have.
Dude, their football meeting rooms, like for the coaches, they're all white leather chairs. They have this thick glass table. They've got freaking like the TVs that hook up to the little hub in the middle of the table so that you can just upload your computer and screen mirror and all that stuff. It's different there.
Has it really been 3 hours and 34 minutes?
Yeah, we gotta stop this.
Yeah, we gotta stop this because my wife, I gotta see her. Oh my God, graduating 14 seniors. Wow. Yeah, see, we only have like 6 seniors, so that's.
All right, thanks for listening. Sorry I couldn't debate well to everybody because my brain is mush.
All right.
All right. Deuces.